Don Dada. The chi Bruce Lee gotta be like Wada. Flow like it's lava through the vein, keep it proper. Not your Papa T with a C like Nostradamus. Black Harry Potter, wizardry, got a ladder. Healing in it, dealing with it, all the trauma. Spinning like a record on repeat, too much drama. Time to breathe deep, find peace, my nirvana. Flipping over beats, spitting heat for persona. Feel me globally, rise, realign your chakra. Something you've been missing for a minute. What we off a hopscotch off the block, then we on flights to Ghana. Rolling with my side, jumping high, bye. Masterminds ain't gotta try, we just do it how we wanna. Cutting up the place like a stick, Benny Hanna. Move at our own pace, never sheep for your slider. Forget about your twos and your threes, we the ones. We the ones, creators of the new melodies, we the ones. We the ones, forget about your twos and your threes, we the ones. We the ones, everything we do, prophecy, we the ones. We the ones.
All right, well, let's get it going. I guess we've already been recording. I was gonna say we should start it when we were talking about the Chronicle, but yeah, we need to record this intro, bro. I'm like tired of like trying to like slide into the intro. We really need to like record something.
Can we go back and get like the best old one that we got?
I could. That sounds like some work, but I could do that for sure. Like, I remember I like the one where I was like, "You ain't heard this podcast? You know what the fuck time it is." No, what? All right, what it is be? What hopefully what it could be?
What it could be?
Wait, no, that's not it.
Wait, no, that's not our shit. That's not our shit.
Man, this is the season finale though, episode 21. It's like it's actually almost been a year now because we started in April, right?
Yes, because it was after we all got fucking locked in our houses.
Yeah, it was. Damn, that's a fucking trip, dude. It was that long ago.
It's fucking crazy. I'm not gonna say I'm surprised that we made it to 21 episodes, but like just the journey getting here has been like, it's been pretty cool, man. You know what I mean? Yeah. I didn't think I'd be doing the podcast. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you hadn't asked me, I wouldn't have fucking done it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. And you know, like here in 1 month, we could say we've been doing it for a year, and that's kind of dope. Like, it's just every extra episode we do is just more like, you know, we've been vetted.
yeah, we've had some good ass episodes too.
Fuck yeah, dude. Dude. So I just reminded me though, like people might not know this if they just listened to the episode last month, but we almost lost that episode, dude. Days after I'm editing, I leave my computer open, I go away, I come back, and it's fucking crashed because I didn't back my shit up. I didn't have a solid state drive because this laptop I had was kind of a temporary patch to the previous computer I lost. And needless to say, I've learned my lesson a few times. We are backed up now. I've got a new hard drive, solid state drive installed. We didn't lose the episode. I had a damn near breakdown moment. I almost tossed this whole project out.
It was. I felt so bad because I think you text me like "fuck" or something. It's like, oh my god, oh shit, what happened? But you know, like I think we all as creators have learned, and if you're listening to this and you have like your own files and shit, always, as soon as you think about it, back that shit up.
No shit.
Always keep more than one copy.
One copy too.
Yeah, exactly. I got 2 hard drives and a cloud of my shit. You know what I'm saying? Like a Dropbox where I put all my shit. Because like, what if your fucking house burns down or something? You know what I'm saying? Like, if my house burns down, the first thing I'm grabbing is my hard drive. Well, the baby, but I got, you know what I'm saying? I'm ambidextrous.
Yeah. Fucking man, I don't know. Noah was in and disappeared.
I don't see him.
I'm gonna message him real quick.
Yeah, Key just texted me back.
Someone's in. I think Shaka's in.
Okay.
Are they together? I'm assuming.
I believe so.
Yeah. All right. Well, fucking. Anyway, yeah. Almost lost the episode. If you haven't listened to that episode with Blind Rob, it's dope. We had a lot of fun. Go back and check that out.
Great episode.
For real. Let's run through these announcements real quick because we got our guests in. We got a dope guest today.
Yeah.
Guests, plural.
Yes.
And you want to go ahead and just drop the guests real quick and then we'll make these announcements?
Our guest today is going to be husband and wife, hip-hop duo, fucking activists, philanthropists, cool motherfuckers, riders against the storm, Kidada and Shaka. And like, I'm super excited about this interview. So they will be in just a moment.
They joined twice, it looks like, so maybe we'll get a double angle on this. Oh, we are recording this. This is going to be video. Go to our page for the YouTube link, or it won't be hard to find. You type in You Ain't Heard of Us podcast. We're already on there. You can go subscribe. Follow us at You Ain't Heard of Us everywhere. Make sure you subscribe and review. This is the last episode of the season. We'll probably start back sometime in the summer. There's no definitive date on that. There might be some little bonus material here and there in between. We're going to be dropping merch. We should be starting the episode 1 of the smoke sessions, which is going to be me and my crew, my DJ crew from Austin, just talking about old days, where music's at now, smoking, shooting the shit. It'll be just kind of little one-offs to keep people going in between our interviews. We also might get into the lab rat dosage history, finally tell my story, because we haven't done that yet.
I know, right?
And then we're going to have little mini one-offs because we want to keep representing the people you have not heard of. Our guests are getting a little bit bigger. I'm not afraid to say that. We're talking to more prominent people who you might have heard of already, and still shedding light on unheard stories and shit like that. But we want to promote up-and-comers. They don't have to be young people. Anyone who's just still trying to get their art out there. So expect some little one-offs from people like that too. And then, yeah, the video. That's the other announcement. Should be a lot. Even though we won't be making a new episode, a new interview, officially You Ain't Heard of Us interview for a while, we're going to have tons of shit happening.
Yeah.
That's the main point I want to make. So make sure you're following us and email us, youain'theardofus@gmail.com. We want your ideas. We want you to be in contact with us so we can hit you up directly.
Yeah, because we don't have shit else to do, so we read that shit. I mean, we do have other shit to do, but you know.
I check my email every damn day. So let's get writers in here, man.
Let's go.
I'm gonna admit both of these. I think they might have 2 angles going. I don't know what's going on. He might be showing up.
Shock, you still here?
Yeah. I'm just on my phone, so I can get on my computer in a second.
Okay.
I didn't know. I thought it was just gonna be audio, so I'm just kind of straightening up my house and shit.
Yeah, I put up the
We got the virtual backgrounds on for us.
The background because my bed is behind me and that shit does not look good.
I've been living in this new place for almost 8-9 months now and still have not put everything up on my walls in my studio. So I'm rocking the virtual background.
I got you.
But how are you, man? Like, how are you?
Yeah, man.
You talking to me?
Yeah.
Man, I'm all right, bro. Like the last couple of weekends, I've been trying to just like rest as much as possible. It's been, last couple of weeks, whatever, just been intense. Lot going on, and we still got a record out, and we just released that, and it's like everything kind of just in one little corridor. I had that live stream event last Friday.
Yeah, from the Empire.
Well, no, it wasn't. It was a live stream. It was more like a TV program. Like I did like interviews with artists and had
that's where you had like you and Jake Lloyd was playing pool. Yeah.
So I did like 6 interviews, and we had like our record release kind of virtual party and stuff. So this has been a lot, man. Been a lot going on.
I think maybe, for the people that are listening to this, we live in Austin, Texas. Seabass is in Eureka, but me and Shaka and Key live in Austin, Texas. And there was a huge fucking winter storm, which Texas was not fucking prepared for at all, infrastructure-wise. People weren't prepared. It was pretty shitty. No power, no water. In most places, everything's closed. So that sucked. And Shaka and Key both, but Shaka really stepped up and put his boots to the ground and was like coordinating and helping people and making shit happen. Like, I think they raised like 32 racks in they not only raised but distributed 32 racks in like direct cash payments to the people that actually needed it in the moment, instead of going through the bullshit and the bureaucracy. So that's why I was like, damn, how are you? Because I know you was working your ass off.
I mean, it was not intent, it was already kind of like, people just started hitting me up like, where I can get water, I can get food, stuff like that. And then, actually, like before it all really popped off, like a bunch of organizations and people had just got together because we were like, we need to get the homeless people off the street. So that was like the main focus when we first knew the cold was coming in. And it was just like a hustle to try to make that happen. And everybody was kind of full steam with that. And then the grid went out. And then it was like a whole different batch of issues because we were mainly trying to figure out how to raise money to pay for hotels for the homeless people and take care of them and feed them during the week. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then the grid went out, and I was like, now we got to feed like half of Austin. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't know, it was just crazy, man. And I basically posted on Facebook because I have a Venmo for DAWA, which is an organization that I founded in 2019. And I had just been like collecting money through that. So I had like 3,000. So I just put it up on Facebook. I was like, yo, if y'all need anything, just hit me up. And so somebody sent somebody my phone number. And so somebody hit me up and they were like, I need help. So I was like, all right, bet. I sent them $200 and then my phone just blew up for like 3-4 days straight. Like every 2 minutes I was getting a text from that point. So I gave away in that first like 24 hours, I gave away $5,000. I hit the limit on Venmo. And then I went over to Cash App the next day and I gave away $7,500. But like in between that, like I had 3,000 in my Venmo. So like I had given out 20 money. So I was like, look, y'all, like, if you want to help with direct cash assistance, like I'm doing that now, I guess. Right. So people just started donating. And before I knew it, we had like, 2,000, 3,000 in, and, it was like just a constant in and out flow.
Right.
So yeah, I had to like shut it down at the end of the week because we, at first it was just me just responding to text, like send me a Cash App, all right, boom, send it to you. And then I created a form because it was like on my feet, like this was not like I'm watching prepared to do this, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, so then we created a form and started like responding through that form, and there's over 1,500 people, probably 2,000 people on that form at this point. But like we just went down the list on the form and just gave until we had gave all the money that we had brought in.
I mean, and that like to me like that really is incredible. You know what I'm saying? Because I know you, but a lot of the people listening to this don't know you. And Shaq is already kind of like that guy. So I'm watching this kind of unfold and, I'm charging my phone in my car, you know what I'm saying? Trying to, trying to stay warm and looking at this, you know what I'm saying? And not being able to move and drive around, but just seeing the genuine, like, oh, I guess this is what we're doing now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And being able to facilitate it and having the willingness to do that, because people were fucked up. A lot of, people were joking online, especially if you're not from Texas or you live in a place where it snows like that a lot. You don't realize how crazy that was,
I mean, people didn't have water. People still don't have water.
Yeah, there are places right now, and today we're recording this on Sunday, March 7th, and people still don't have water today.
It's been two weeks now, 3 weeks now?
Almost 3 weeks.
Almost 3 weeks.
And that's
wow.
Fucking insane.
And it lasted like 5 days.
5 days.
Now, I mean, I know people are still dealing with problems now, but I mean, like,
it was a full 5 days, like Monday through Friday. Like it started like the cavalry really started to come out like Friday and Saturday, like where like distribution.
Right. The first day people were just out kind of like doing the snow day thing, not even realizing what was about to unfold.
Yeah.
I know the first day people was like, we were just trying to, because people were stuck and they didn't have food and we didn't have water. So we was trying to just like, we was just hustling, trying to like, okay, who got a car? Who can deliver? Okay, we got this, you know, bring this over there. It was just like a mad
Who got a car?
dash.
Who has a car that'll actually make it to where you need to go?
Yeah.
And that, dude.
Well, also, I think also is like, you know, a lot of people don't know how to drive in this weather. So I think if you know how to drive, you'd be all right, you know, but a lot of people, you know what I'm saying? So it was just, it was a lot of that too. Like you didn't necessarily need a 4-wheel, but you know, if you're from the Northeast, you can handle it a little bit, but
you don't know these things. I'm born and raised in Austin. I can attest to that. I learned how to drive in that kind of weather just a few years ago. I'd never even seen that. My girlfriend's from Michigan. I remember her laughing at me when I first saw snow on the road because I was freaking out, man.
Yeah.
And then on top of that,
it don't matter if there's a hill. If there's a hill, you know, it don't matter. Like there's nothing you can do about that. That we had. So, you know, it was just it just was what it was. And here I'm getting a Cash App request right now. Like I'm still getting people still hit me up, you know, like texting and stuff to this day, you know.
And that bleeds into like the because I want to talk about Dawa too, and just like let you kind of explain the inception of that and then where you're going with it and what you've done so far. Because you've done some significant things, I mean, in the city, you know, as far as helping to get policy changed, and being a real advocate that's willing to actually put themselves out there. So could you like just kind of tell us about Dawa? Because even the need, like you said, somebody Cash Apping you right now, you know what I'm saying? It just kind of shows the need. And I think, you know, what you're doing with Dawa kind of bleeds into that.
Well, you know, when we first got here, now, mind you, like both my parents college educated, you know what I'm saying? I came down here. I was a teacher before I came down here, but we made the decision to be artists, do that full time. And so everything else
we gotta elaborate on, but please continue.
everything else was part time or whatever hustle we could figure out so that we could still, you know, maintain our focus on music and building a career and figuring it out, because we really didn't know what that meant. So, you know, in a nutshell, it was very difficult, you know, as a lot of musicians find out, unless, you know, you got someone kind of funding you or investing in you or whatever, or a lot of musicians, they have a partner that's, you know, got a full-time job or whatever that's holding them down, or whatever. You need some type of situation, but because both of us were going at it, and you know, we were really learning. I mean, I got a master's degree. It's not like I'm, you know, not, you know, schooled and I don't know how to learn, but there's just a lot to it, you know, and there's a lot of hustle to it, and there's a lot of just things to figure out, so that you can get the money flowing, you can get enough money flowing, to maintain. So it took us a while. And you know, we were on food stamps for a while. They cut us off of food stamps because they said I wasn't looking for a job. Like we were just going through it. Like, you know, we couldn't afford, you know, first and last month's rent at a certain point. So, you know, we were staying with friends for, you know, most artists know this struggle. It's not like it's uncommon, but the thing that comes along with it, you know, in our situation and in most situations, is mental health struggles. And, you know, you can get into, you know, some dark places mentally, and that can affect your relationships, and it can affect your health and all these type of things. So, you know, we were going through all that. You know, on the outside, you know, we're hustling, and we're rising against the storm. We're doing it. We're making our moves and doing what we can, building our brand and all that. But you know, there was definitely some hard times, like where people would come and, you know, fill our refrigerator with groceries. And one time we had to find a new apartment. We couldn't afford it. Our car got totaled. You know, someone gave us, and I think a lot of that was happening just because of the situation we're in. You know, when you're in a bad situation, it's like things like kind of just multiply. Yep, you know what I mean? It's like one thing goes bad, and you know, just to start snowballing. So a lot of people know that, know what that's like. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, that's you know, that's what they're living right now. So they understand that, and so we were just going through that, man, on a consistent basis. And then, you know, we found our way out of that. And so, you know, and over the last, like, you know, 4 or 5 years, like I've just been doing what I can to help, you know, in whatever way I can. But within the last, like, you know, 2-3 years, you know, people hit us up like so-and-so's, you know, evicted or whatever, or so-and-so, you know, got this problem, that problem, needs medicine, whatever. And so I would just, like, amongst people I know, like, kind of as fast as I could, just kind of like hit people up, be like, yo, so-and-so needs help. This is what they're going through. You know, can you give me $10, whatever, and then kind of collect it and, like, give it to them and, you know, hope that it helps, type of thing. But it was happening so often, you know, so consistently, that I was like, man, like, why isn't there a place where, you know, people could just go and get like a couple $100, like, just easily, without a whole lot of, you know, rigmarole, a whole lot of bureaucracy, anything like that. It's just like, okay, you're an artist, you're a musician, you're a social worker, you're a teacher, you're somebody that's giving, you know, because the mental situation for me, I can speak personally for me, is like, I'm successful, like, I'm doing well, but I can't make ends meet. Like, I'm, you know, I'm achieving, like, this is a real thing. This is really happening for me. And, like, I still, no matter the level of success that I met, I still can't make ends meet. So that's what DAW was about. It's like, you know, providing for those people that you call it giving to the givers. It's those people that are out there that are already providing a, you know, a service, and they're good at it. This is what they want to do. They're not trying to make $1 million. They're not trying to be famous. They're not, you know, maybe some of the artists are, whatever, but, like, it's more like this is what they're going after, and they care about it, you know. And so we just want to have a resource for them, you know, in particular. So it's not, DAWA is not focused on, like, just everybody at this point. You know, the emergency funding that just happened because of the situation, but DAWA specifically is focused on people of color that are artists, teachers, social workers, healthcare providers, service industry folks, you know, people that watch, you know, do the door at venues, I know people in the music industry.
Most people in the industry in Austin are going to be working a door in a restaurant too, probably.
You know, yeah, and you know, it's everybody in those professions know the struggle. So,
and
you know,
what is
like
the organization? How do you spell it? So, you know, just in case people are listening and they can reach out to donate or whatever. You know?
Yeah, it's called DAWA. DAWA, Diversity, Awareness, and Wellness in Action. The website is dawaheals.org, DAWA heals.org. So yeah, I started that in 2019, basically on my birthday. I wasn't necessarily, I didn't really have a
who starts the fucking foundation to help other people on their motherfucking birthday? Like,
hey, I'm gonna let Noah in, guys. Noah's just he's been a recurring guest. He's a photographer. He's been holding down the scene in Austin.
Homie, you know Noah.
Okay.
Oh, it looks like we got Key
no, Filipino
yeah,
Noah?
Yeah, Filipino Noah, yeah.
All right. Yeah, so everybody knows that dude.
Yeah, he's documented damn near 2 decades now. He's been documenting history in Austin, you know, with that behind the lens and just through being the person he is. But we're gonna let him in, and then it looks like we got Key back too. So let's pause here and let's get the rest of the crew in.
All right.
Yeah, let me see.
Welcome back.
Hey,
oh man, look at that.
Hey,
that's a whole different vibe.
She's
what
like,
up, Noah?
The car, nigga. You didn't tell me you was recording like that.
I like the color.
Yeah, let me. I'm gonna get on my computer, so I'm gonna hang up and get.
And jump back.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I was trying to jump in earlier on my phone coming in.
All right, Noah.
Places, so.
We were just
it really works better on the computer.
Yeah, we Noah, we kind of surprised writers with the video, so they needed some time to kind of get ready. Anyway, we were just kind of talking to Shaka a bit about DAWA, his
oh, for sure, man,
nonprofit organization.
I've been a major supporter of that stuff, and during recently when the snowstorm had hit, making donations to DAWA as well as the homie Certified, who was out there running the streets making sure.
Oh yeah, Certified.
Like got water to the people and diapers to all the mamas who didn't get it, you know. So it was a struggle.
That was a trip, man. That was like so crazy to watch. And it's not just that well, Texas has never seen this weather. Like that doesn't happen. This is like historical shit that no one was ever prepared for because it doesn't happen. Not to excuse, you know, not
we're not excusing,
not to excuse Texas for not being ready to like take care of its people. You know, there's a reason that people always say tax dollars are lower.
The state didn't take care of people. It was the people.
That's what I'm saying. Not to excuse their lack.
Took care of people, bro. It wasn't the government. It wasn't the government that didn't step up. It was
I'm saying not to excuse their lack, because it should have been. There should have been an infrastructure in place in the first place.
No,
of course. Especially with all this.
There wasn't though. The bottom line is that there wasn't, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know.
Right.
People sit around and talk about what they're gonna do and not do it. People are talking about what they're not doing, bro. You know what I mean? And it's like what people.
Yeah, I'm saying we see that a lot with.
Yeah, dude. Of course, especially in Texas. So I study this shit. I'm educated now. I got a degree, and you know I participate in a lot of community and grassroots groups here in Austin, Texas. So I'm not confused about it, bro. You know what I'm saying? I've been highly associated and affiliated. So when people are stepping up to save lives and government's not, there's somebody at fault there, bro. So
right.
Oh yeah.
Right.
We're gonna get all the ass out of here. I never voted before, like in my life. Well, the last time I tried to vote.
Shaka back.
I
all right, Shaka's back now too. So
okay.
Let's get him back in here, and we can officially welcome everyone.
Sweet.
All right. There he is. Man.
Good to see you guys. Good to see you, Keith. Good to see you, Chocolate.
Guys.
What's up?
I miss seeing y'all's beautiful faces in the scene. You know what I mean? Real talk.
Man, I miss Body Rock. God, I miss Body Rock.
Yeah. I was just over at Far Out Lounge, and I'm considering that might be the spot, a location for some stuff. That's a dope spot over there.
It's
safety is a priority. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Literally one of my favorite things in life is Body Rock.
Was that at the Indie or the Independent?
No, it was at Empire. Well, it was at Empire. It switched locations over the last 10 years. So the last iteration of it was at Sahara Lounge, and then before that was at Empire, and then before that was at Sahara Lounge.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I love Sahara. Are Sahara, are they? I know obviously they've probably been closed down for a while, but is Sahara still kicking over there? Are they gonna?
Yeah, I was just over there the other night. They're definitely opened back up. You know, it's a small space, so there's only so much you could do.
Right. That's what I was thinking when you said you went from Empire back to Sahara. I was like, okay, that's like, because I don't know if you were inside or outside, but
it would feel it was the inside before pre-COVID. The inside would be filled, and the whole outside would be like packed, man. Like,
ain't no party like a Body Rock party, man. Like it, man. My favorite Body Rock of all time was the smallest crowd when y'all were just Blaze, man, and it was magical as fuck, man.
There's a video floating around of I want to say of you dancing somewhere, maybe at Plush or something. I'm not sure.
Me?
Plush,
me?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the old Body Rocks, and someone I didn't know told me they saw me in a video, and they showed me on the spot. I almost fell over laughing and crying at the same time.
No, like original Body Rock, like the first year or two.
Oh shit!
Plush? Y'all did it at Plush originally?
Yeah, located at Plush. Man. It was on a Wednesday, for like second Wednesday or first Wednesday, something like that.
Yeah, it was all vinyl. It was all vinyl Body Rock, Chorizo Funk, and
Chorizo Funk. Shout out Chorizo Funk.
Yeah, shouts.
Shout out to Chorizo Funk.
Yeah, shouts to Plush too, man. R.I.P. You know, we love that place so much. We love the family's still around, but the place, you know, we'll just have to miss that, I guess.
The heart and soul's still there, but it's gone. You know.
I think we're all kind of like hardened to our favorite places closing at this point, don't you think? I mean, it's not to say that it's a good thing. It's sad, but it's like another place falls in Austin, and it's just almost like expected at this point.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. I've watched a lot of places, but then I also think, you know, the story's not over. You know, we're not at the end of the movie, so we really
certainly not over. The biggest boom town in 50 years, they're saying.
They'll probably they'll probably turn into fucking condos, but I guess
Elon basically, I feel like, positioned himself to just buy Austin.
I mean,
It's scary that there's people who could do that, right? Like people are afraid of politicians. I'm afraid of people with money like that.
Yeah.
But Elon wasn't out here in the streets when it got cold, so you know what I'm saying?
Like, hell no, he wasn't. He flew out, man. You kidding?
They all did, you know what I'm saying? Or their power didn't go out, but that's a whole nother story.
Reg,
so,
do you want to formally?
I do. Let me formally introduce our guest because we've been talking for a minute. Yeah. But this is one of my favorite groups. They are a husband and wife duo, which is unique enough. But you know, their music, their vibe, everything that they do, from the parties to the activism to the writing to the comedy, is exceptional. And I fucking love these people. Riders Against the Storm.
Yeah, man. Welcome.
What up?
Welcome to the You Ain't Heard of Us podcast.
So we were kind of, man, thanks for coming.
Yeah, no, definitely. This is our, like I told you, this is our season finale.
That's right.
We're gonna take a break and, you know, have babies and regroup and shit.
Congratulations.
We can officially make that announcement.
Yeah, thank you. Seabass is known for a while, but you know.
Man, that's
but
crazy.
First I wanna start with, how are y'all? Like, how are y'all doing in the midst of, you know, Snow Week and the pandemic and just everything, releasing an album? You know what I'm saying? Like, how are y'all doing?
Gosh, I feel like we're doing great. I think a lot of people, you know, we've been having a hard time, and I don't think that that's evaded us in any way, but just not being able to be social, not being able to be in a community like that, not being able to travel like you want, you know. Like you were saying earlier, I don't know what part of the movie this is, but this is like a very epic proportion thriller or what have you. And I think most people kind of feel that, regardless of whether or not you're definitely, you feel hemmed up against the ropes. I don't necessarily feel like that's how we feel, you know, in a lot of senses, we're definitely like bubbling, you know what I mean? We're feeling very, very good. And part of that is maybe the chance, I think a lot of people feeling that, just the chance to slow down, regroup, reconsider, hash things out, clear things up, you know. It's you know, it's really cool. It's really, really, really cool. You know, to be able to experience life kind of slow down. Like when the pandemic first hit, it was eerie almost, because I feel like people were coming out of their houses like they were moles in spring.
Right. Groundhog Day shit.
You know what I mean? Just like, oh, hi. Like they were waving like indiscriminately at each other, like, oh, around our block for sure. I was like, I didn't know an Asian woman lived on the corner of our like, oh, that's why I be smelling kimchi and shit.
That's why I be smelling. I thought that was in my head.
What is that smell? Oh, I get it. You know, so there was just a lot of that. And I think it reset people on a certain level. But to talk about ourselves, I feel like that also took place. It just allowed us to kind of like reset, allowed things to slow down. And it's just allowed for things to kind of gain some potency, because things weren't going out as much.
Right. Okay. But that's good, because I kind of feel that same kind of way. Like it gives you a chance to slow down. And I know a lot of people have experienced a lot of hardships. I don't want to make light of that, but to be able to slow down, like you in the house now. So you kind of looking at yourself, or you're looking at your partner, or you're looking at your kids, or whoever's in your house, and you know, having to slow down.
You haven't got to know yourself. You're about to have some time with yourself.
Oh yeah. You're gonna look in the mirror a lot more.
Yeah, and it's been really hard. Like I think that's part of why you know, Shaka's been able to really output the stuff in the social sector, social justice sector as much, because you know, he can speak to it better. But it's you know, people were really in need, because people were at home, they were with themselves. Some people were still in abusive situations. Some people needed to get out of them. They needed money for hotels. They needed to leave their partners. They needed to feed their kids, because shit was just slowed up. Work was slowed up. You know, it activated on a lot of different levels, heightened everything on a lot of levels.
I didn't even consider that. Like if you're in an abusive relationship with someone and now y'all are fucking snowed in, like shit, like that's not good at all. Like I really have to get out of here. And y'all, you know, was able to shot did it. And we talked a little bit about that in the break when you was you know, get together or whatever. But yeah, like I didn't even consider that. So and even in the midst of that,
sometimes even in the midst, short-sighted, you know, like it doesn't end at, oh, you're at home, you know, you be comfortable, deal with it. Oh, you get to work from home, you should be happy. But you know, you don't know what everyone is doing.
You don't know what everybody's going through.
To speak on Dawa, like earlier too, it's like some people will say, oh, well, why don't you just go get a job? It's like, I'm an artist. This is all I know. I'm supposed to just pivot? How do you just pivot and then go be shitty at a job because I've never done this in my life before?
Or you hate being there. So
right.
That's the thing too.
Yeah. There isn't a fallback plan for artists usually either.
I don't think people understand the torture for an artist to have a job. It's
really bad. Like it's, you know what I'm saying? And you living in your head and you like, fuck, I hate this place. And motherfucker say something to you and you can't, because I've got fired for saying that thing out loud that I was supposed to say in my head. And yeah, I said that shit out loud and it didn't go well. I was escorted out of the building by security. That is neither here nor there. But think about even going through that and still trying to be an artist and still like, because y'all have a new album out right now, Flowers for the Living, which I really dig. I think my two favorite songs are Flowers for the Living and The One. Like that, you know, the whole shit's dope, but those are the two ones that have been like added to my constant musical rotation. So like talk about
the project.
Yeah.
Is it something y'all started in the midst of last year? Were you already working on it? You had an idea, or something that birth out of just completely having to pivot with this new kind of, you know, way of living?
Well, we a lot of the songs on the album are we had kind of released them already. They were singles, so we felt like we had kind of working towards a larger project. And the title song "Flowers for the Living" was actually something that just kind of lived. It was like a song, a melody that lived with me for a long time. And I remember, you know, he talking with Reggie probably a year ago or so about, you know, he was like, "Yeah, I got a song called Flowers for the Living." So this is something that was just kind of with me for a long time. And this woman, so the song was there. This woman named Lily did a portrait of us. And she put all these flowers around us. So I was like, okay, you know, kind of all just made sense in terms of the title of the album, the song. We plan on releasing the song. So just kind of put all these ideas together. And we're lucky to spend a weekend basically with Anthony Farrell from the Greyhounds. We made 2 songs with him. We had, you know, I had been trying to connect with him. You know how it is sometimes wanting to connect with people. And
it just doesn't align at that time. But
we got that with you constantly, Reggie. But you know, we gotten a few things done.
Everyone does.
Yeah, you know how it is.
A lot of house.
Yeah, so we have been back and forth, and then finally, he made some time because of the, pandemic, people are home or whatever.
Yeah.
So we literally just sat in his little small studio and made those songs together. The Ones and Richard Simmons.
And, The Ones is the first track, right?
Yeah.
The Ones, that's the first track. Yeah. Like it comes on.
Yeah, that little blue riff.
Yeah, I love that. That's a vibe for me. I like Black Girl Payday too. I know you came out with that, like in the video for that is dope as fuck.
That one was him too.
No. That's a different producer.
Okay, because that one slaps too. I was gonna say.
No, but that song is on this album, Black Girl Payday.
Yeah, right.
For the living. Yeah.
So y'all worked with a couple different producers.
Yeah, three different producers. Yeah,
so where's the house influence coming from? Because that's one thing I noticed for sure. There's a little house.
I love house music.
Cool.
And I I don't really know house music like enough to. I'm not like a super fan, but it just lifts me up. It's kind of like you know, I don't what's the word, not dance hall reggae, but the old school reggae. Like when I hear it, just lifts me up. It's like gospel music to me. You know, like it just got a really inspirational vibe to it. Every time I hear it, it just makes me feel better.
Right.
Yeah, I just love that. So like, you know, I wanted to bring that element. I wanted to personally just like do a whole house record.
Yeah.
But
it might be an idea, huh? Or at least like a remix record.
I mean, it's just about finding a producer that's willing to go in and get it done. You know, we could do it. You know, it's
next
just
thing you know, y'all are going to be up in Detroit.
Juking and shit.
I just love house music, and I've been like, you know, wanting to do more of that, and so like that's where that kind of comes from, I think.
Cool. Yeah, I love that.
There's a kind of nouveau house style that's coming out of South Africa that I've been really into. It's called Amapiano. And there's a cat that we both love by the name of Something Soweto. And he came out with a hit record in Africa called, gosh, actually, I don't remember the song, but he wanted something authentically South African. So he came out with this,
Talking about Loto?
Loto, I don't think that's the name of the whole album. But that was the record that came out. Yeah, that was the record. Loto.
I want to know what it is.
Yeah, no, Loto. If you look up Loto, Lotto, like Lotto, but Loto, by Sam Thing, like Sam Thing, Soweto. And it's a whole vibe over there. Like that's like the new hot. Like it's so cool. It's like South African melodies, like the way South Africans sing over house music. It sends you away. Like it's so cool. So. Awesome. We were digging Something Soweto for a long time, and then he came out with a house record, but an African style, sweet lullaby type South house record. So we were really vibing on that for a while too, like playing it in the house a lot, etc. Kind of figuring out who these producers are and all of that, and just kind of going down the rabbit hole of listening to that. There was the song "The Rain," which is an old school record that Shaka was really vibing on for a long time. And that kind of like, yeah, definitely you're not mistaken when you say that you hear the house vibe. We were vibing on that maybe throughout the pandemic, a little before that, but yeah.
That's ironic, the house vibe.
Right.
Like, but it's cool. I dig that, like the uplifting, you know what I'm saying? I think that kind of lends to one of y'all's strengths of like uplifting. If people don't know what body rock is, well, and I know like there's 7 billion people on the planet, so a lot of people don't know what body rock is, but I really want y'all to talk about this and explain this, because I think this really massively kind of plays into one of y'all's strengths. I can't wait to see y'all perform these songs live. You know what I mean? Like in a you know what I mean? Like in a show. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you perform them one-off, but just the energy, and that lends to body rock in my mind. So can we just talk about body rock?
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, yeah. We started body rock. We got to Austin in like the end of December 2009. We started body rock February 2010. So we met DJ Chorizo Funk.
That was quick.
In January 2010, and he saw like we were doing a party on the east side at this place called the Aroon Center Cultural Arts. It's no longer there, but we had met him through a friend, and then he came to one of our parties, and then he asked us like, yo, you know, I got opportunity. I don't know if y'all remember James Taylor at the time. He was running Plush, and James Taylor asked him if he wanted to do something at Plush, and so he was trying to figure out what he wanted to do. He had this idea. He saw what we were doing, and he was like, yo, would y'all be down? And we were like, we ain't got nothing else to do on a Wednesday, whatever, let's go. You know, we just got here, so it was just like. You know, it's the second Wednesday of the month. We were like getting 20% of the bar. You know what I mean?
Man, they gave y'all 20%.
But when we weren't getting the door.
Yeah, we weren't getting the door.
10.
It was free. So like, I mean, some nights we was coming home with like $10, man.
On a Wednesday night, yeah. For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Some nights was all right. They was never great. You know what I mean? 20% of the bar was never like. Never.
Yeah, like that's the lick.
It wasn't what we came
down.
Shout out
to James Taylor too, though. Shout out to James Taylor too. He was a major influence in Austin.
Yeah.
Let's not forget.
So you know, he gave us a shot, and you know, we did what we could with that, and we had some good, I mean, great nights in terms of like just the energy of the party and everything. But we decided to move it to a place called Loft 718, and that's where it really kind of like picked up.
Yeah, I remember that spot.
Right.
Within a year, like we had like a line out the door. It was like packed. Wow. I really wish we had got footage of the last party there. It's just gonna have to live in my memory, but like that last party was crazy. It was like wall to wall people, in a line out the door. I feel like maybe we did get some footage of that.
Somebody got something.
Anyway, it was.
Hopefully we can find it and we'll slice it in right here.
I mean, people weren't so on their screens at that
point.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
I know 09 was like was early still.
Now, this is like 11, 12 though. This
this
like
is a little later.
But still, at that point, it wasn't rampant.
It wasn't. Yeah, you didn't have everybody like staring at you with their fucking phones up.
Right.
You know,
I remember kind of switching from hard flyers to like Facebook events too around that time. It was kind of like just starting to like, you would still go hand out your handbills for sure.
I still use the camera.
Noah probably got that shit on the cool.
Not that one.
Right. So, you know, I mean, it just kept growing, man. And like, you know, the energy never changed. Like, you know, whatever people were experiencing on the second Wednesday, it's the same thing. It's just, you know, more people. You know, hip hop call and response. So it's like, you know, you send the energy out there. The more people that's there, the more energy comes back, and just, you know, you just go up from there. So, you know, our last party we did in February 2020, like our last like with people there. We brought Tony Touch, and it was crazy, like 800 people at Empire. You know,
wow.
We brought Purple Pam before she transitioned. We brought DJ Newmark.
Yes.
You know, we've had legends like K Reno up in there, like some epic parties. We did a party with DJ Maceo from De La Soul. Some epic stuff, man. You know, really like, you know, legendary stuff. So it's been great. It's like a great community space with a super diverse like group of people. You're gonna see black folks, white folks, rich folks, poor folks, you know, queer folks, whoever. We all up in there.
I've never seen a fight at Body Rock.
No.
Never seen it.
There probably was like close to one, and literally it got hugged out.
No, I almost, yeah, but that's a whole nother story for another day. But yeah.
Oh, it was Reggie?
No, it wasn't. No, that wasn't me. But yeah, I was like, I'm not finna fuck up Body Rock, man. You're not finna, you know, you're not finna like, I'm not gonna be the dude that fucks it up. But
the one party in 11 years.
It was a beautiful, and then I think wherever you guys take it or whatever you do with it, it'll continue to be a beautiful space because y'all radiate that energy outward.
Yeah, but, so it just kind of paused because of circumstances, or did y'all make a decision?
We done some virtual ones.
Yeah,
we've done a couple virtual ones this last year. And I think the other important thing to do to note all the time, I have to try to make sure we note that like Body Rock is also Body Rock because of training, right? So people don't think that that you're ever going to like party for a living, like your parents are, you know, I'm going to party for a living, and your parents going to be cool with that. Like that's not a thing.
Can't do that. It's not a thing.
It's not a thing, but you know, that you flow with however, you know, the current goes and however the divine decides to unfold things. So like really what prepared us to have Body Rock have the energy that it has is spiritual training. You know, we were trained by professional storytellers. So these are people who were holding stories of you know, cultures for hundreds of years. Some people call them griots or what have you, but I mean, like literally trained under these people. There's one Baba by the name, and I have to give him a call, but his name is Fred Johnson, right? And so this brother is a jazz vocalist, exquisite jazz vocalist, right? Just, you know, Gregory Porter type jazz. Like they're friends, as a matter of fact. Yeah, him and Gregory Porter are actually friends, but we met him years and years and years ago. But he was trained by these, the sect called the Jollies in West Africa. And we had him at our conference last year. We had a virtual conference last year called the Society Today, and maybe we'll get into that. But so like, this is how ill the like when you can tune into vibration, and we know it. We know what we're saying, but we don't necessarily know where it comes from. And we don't necessarily understand how to deliberately activate it necessarily, right? Baba Fred Johnson knows how to deliberately activate it, right? So I remember being on a conference call with Baba Fred, and Baba Fred was like, you know, I do these, he plays this instrument, this ancient African instrument. And so like part of being able to have that instrument is you have to be trained, and then you have to be a part of building the instrument. You can't just like buy it.
Buy it. Oh, so you have to make it, or it have a.
You have to have a relationship in order for you to even have access to it, right? Real stuff. And he said, now, just to warn you, once I start singing and playing, the internet is probably going to go crazy real quick until I can lock into the frequency, into the bandwidth frequency.
I love it. No, keep going, please.
You know what I mean? And he started playing, and legit, it started to like, right? But I say that to preface that this is like a baton. It's not just like a live ass party. It's a baton of a tradition that has been passed on to us. And that's where our name Riders Against the Storm comes from, you know.
I mean,
it comes from a song from these women called Sweet Honey in the Rock. We'll explain that in a second. But I say that to say that there's a tradition of activating the community, being able to have them understand what it feels like to gather, to become one corporal entity. And then also respect the fact that you're standing on your own square. Like I am the liver. I don't go around messing around with whatever the nostrils are doing or whatever. But we have to work in concert. We have to know what it feels like to be in concert with each other. And literally that's the energy. It's just like, you know, you can be exact. That's why I feel like so many people feel safe at Body Rock and at our shows. It's because they get to feel what it feels like, remember what it feels like to be able to be whatever you are and still work within the body and not have it be discriminated against, because it all has to work together, you know? So that's a lot of what goes into that. Not that it gets explained that way explicitly, not that it gets, you know, you may not know that's what you're experiencing when you're there, but you can feel something otherly happening.
Yeah, it's one of those, like I always say, it feels like going to church without the preface of Jesus. You know what I mean? Going to a fucking cool ass church where everybody's just like on this, like it's I don't want to say weird, but it's literally one of my favorite things in life is Body Rock. And I'm not like bullshitting or capping just because we're talking on a podcast. Like I really love that shit. So to hear you explain it that way makes a lot of sense, because that's how it vibrates with me.
Cool. It's like I said, especially with the Just Blaze, just to bring it up, when y'all did the Just Blaze Body Rock, it was a very small turnout. It wasn't like the normal turnout y'all had, but I mean, there was hardly any people there, and the expectation was it needed to be more, but you could still get the same energy from a small crowd, what you are doing with Just Blaze. Even Just Blaze was like, this is something else, you know what I mean? He knew that y'all guys were doing something else, and that was one of the most magical moments I've ever seen with y'all, besides the South by 2011 at the W when it first opened. Those are the two most significant moments I had with you guys. When we set up I helped with the Ninja Tune setup over at South by 2011, remember? And then they were originally supposed to have Dells from Ninja Tunes supposed to show up. So Ninja Tunes always used to hit me up to help set up their showcases, and they had you guys come in because Dells from Britain was supposed to show up, but they didn't come through. So they had you, Boom Baptist, and Martin from Okote Soul Sounds play. Remember?
Yeah,
wow. on the roof. Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, wow, that was a very magical moment there for me too, for you guys.
That's a cool spot too.
That's a decade. That's a decade ago, almost to the day while you bullshit.
Yeah, that's true. We're in March.
This is why we got you in here, Noah.
Damn.
I've seen the come up, man. It's a blessing to be around to see these moments. Even when there's nobody there, it's still like 10,000 times magical, man. Real talk, man. I want to cry sometimes.
the energy precedes itself, or the energy is gonna be what it's gonna be. It don't matter what the venue is or the crowd sometimes even, and that's a really beautiful thing. One of the things that I love about what y'all do and why I think y'all can win the Austin Music Award as the best group. Because for one, you deserve it, but like that's a part of it. No matter who it is, we could be in the hood, we could be in front of some white folks, we could be at an elementary school.
Literally.
The energy gets off because it's authentic and it's true.
Right.
The reason we won those awards though is because we asked people to vote for us, and like, you know.
But listen,
I love you, brother.
No, what I'm saying is like people rock with us, so they were like, yeah, we'll do it.
Okay.
You know, and the reason we haven't won anything since is because we haven't asked anybody to vote for us. Like, for real, like, you know, after winning the 3 years in a row, you know,
what did you win 3 years in a row?
The Band of the Year, Austin Music Award.
Austin Music. Right. I should have specified
our fans voted us in because we asked them to do it. And you know, after doing that, and then they, you know, you notice on the cover, we were on the cover of the Chronicle last week, they said 3-time Band of the Year. That's the first time they've ever said that in, like, you know, since we won 3 years in a row. Like, they would literally write about us and never mention that we won their award, Band of the Year, 3 years in a row. So that's why he he highlighted that, because you know, I made the statement because it's like they, you know, we never played their you know, music awards. It's still like
I noticed that.
A certain lack of acknowledgement, you know, but I think the journalists were trying to make up for that, you know.
And it was Karan, right?
No, Derek Udensi.
Derek Udensi? Okay, I don't know Derek, but shout out to Derek.
I'll never ask anybody to vote for us again for anything else.
Right.
Correct me if I'm mistaken. There was a little bit of controversy about 1 year that you had won, and then that you didn't show up to the awards. Is that correct too as well?
No. We always showed up. As a matter of fact, like we always talked about hip hop. You know, we always talked about how, you know, the city has been neglecting hip hop.
Right.
Actually, the second year, I caught the Holy Ghost and went off and didn't even let Keith speak, and I still feel you know, bad about that to this day. But I just got in my zone, and I was like, man, y'all gonna respect this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you had to do Andre 3000 and so
Seriously though, like, and we've addressed that before. Historically, Austin has done that, and I mean, I don't know if they're not giving enough attention to people of color, or if it's hip hop, or if it's all the same. But it's always been the case, and like they've pigeonholed hip hop shows to a certain club. We talked about that before, to where they can't play the good hip hop shows like you guys, where you need like a sound band, you need a live venue, not just a club that happens to have a microphone and a PA. And that took years, and we owe a lot of that to what, Reggie, what's the name? I'm skipping on the night. Babu's night, and
Hip Hop Hump Day.
We're Hip Hop Hump Day.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
that's the
old school originals, right.
Unless you were like a touring act, and then you might get put at, you know, like Emo's was a cool place, but you know, unless you were a huge touring act, they'd kind of like.
And they would put you in the shitty room at Emo's too back then. They wouldn't,
because they're lumping all of this.
Because I remember. Place. Yeah, I was there. Right, I remember.
Can we backpedal a little bit, because we talked about Body Rock, and I want to talk about, we're talking about y'all's vibe in general, but the writers shows are a whole different thing. And man, I remember not expecting what was going to happen when I saw you guys for the first time. As soon as y'all jumped up and down, I feel like crowd went nuts, man. And I've experienced that at hip hop shows before, like, you know, Wu-Tang or something, like the crowd's jumping up and down. It's a whole different, like, it's like a dance party. I was getting moved around. I had my backpack. I was trying to like put some shit back in it, you know, like I remember it very clearly, and it was so much fun. But can we go back to before you got to Austin? How, we don't have to talk y'all's whole life story, but you guys as a couple, where does music start? How did Riders start before you, and why? What brought you to Austin? That might be a really long story, but you know, let's try and sum it up.
No. I feel like we met. Gosh, it's coming up on our 20 years since we met.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been about 20 years.
Blessings.
Yeah.
Blessings.
Still so pretty.
Get it, girl, get it.
But yeah, no, it's been about 20 years since we met. And so Shaka had just graduated. Well, not just, but he had graduated from college in 99. And he's from Pittsburgh. He went to college in Providence, Rhode Island. And I was a New York kid, and my mother was basically and a lot of people, actually, a lot of Caribbean people were migrating from New York in the late 80s to get away from the drugs and the crack and the gangs and all of that. So they moved to New England because you could still get back to New York on a weekend really easily if you needed to. Like, we were about 2.5 hours away. Yeah.
So Austin to Houston, basically.
Austin to Houston, exactly. So, but it's three, 4 states in between, 3 states in between. So, or 3 states of driving, whatever. So, I grew up there from about age 8, 9 to, until we moved down here when I was about 27, something like that. So we met, so Providence, Rhode Island is small, and most people didn't know, or I don't know if the statistics is still the same, but Providence, Rhode Island was mostly people of color. Nobody thinks that when they think of Rhode Island.
Rhode Island, you definitely don't think Black people.
Yeah. No, Rhode Island, I mean, in and of itself is not predominantly people of color, but the capital city is over 50% people of color. And the reason for that is, one, because of the migration, like I was talking about. Also, it's a port city. So and it was also a refugee city. So there was a lot of people of color, and I'm talking about all kinds. Like, it is probably, in my opinion, I don't know the statistics exactly, but it might be one of the most culturally dense per capita in the country for the size that it's in. I mean, you're talking about Laotian people, Cambodian people, Ghanaian people, Colombian people, like the Peruvian people. There was constantly a Flag Day, constantly an Independence Day, Jamaican restaurants. I mean, like Thai, there was Indian, I mean, everything, everybody, all kinds of enclaves in this tiny little spot. So you were constantly running in and out of culture. So you kind of had to learn it was great stomping ground to learn things politically, because it was easier to access because it was so small. It was also like the racism was gratuitous, like gratuitous.
Yeah, like
do you imagine someone like me being arrested? Like, I was arrested for some BS, you know what I mean? For protecting kids, you know what I mean?
Of course.
It's gratuitous racism. And Shaka could talk about it. He was doing a lot of organizing at the time around that. But because it's so small, like if you're Black, it's small. If you're a Black artist, it's small. If you're a Black artist activist, it's super small.
It keeps
right. Gets smaller. So we were just orbiting each other quite a bit. You know what I mean? There used to be this thing called war, kind of like, so I think around that time, a lot of stuff was happening like that. So much like Hip Hop Hump Day, there was this stuff called war. It was a monthly and, open mic, and, that's where everyone came to showcase their stuff and, highlight, and, certain individuals became like popular and, became the mainstays, etc. And so I met him there for the first time. I was in college. He had graduated out of college. He was working in the community. And I saw him there. And then eventually we just started circling each other and seeing each other at different open mics and different.
Were y'all both performing and creating already? Or were you like just attending these events?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I was in a rap group in college. That was called I was about to say.
Tell us so we can find it and cut it in right here.
We will.
If you can find it, I think I might have the CD. If you can find it, it was called Dark Trilogy.
Okay.
It's called Dark Trilogy. It was like a really clean Wu-Tang. But it was a clean version of Wu-Tang, like, I mean, if you can imagine that.
Stepping stones.
You needed that.
That was the idea.
And what were you doing, Shaka, at the time? I know you graduated. So
I was like
pursuing art.
Yeah, I was doing hella things all at once. I was organizing.
Yeah,
I was,
as we all know,
doing spoken word. you know, I was in that early phase, like I was really like pretty I guess what you call militant, and like really, you know, this is like Dead Prayers, like Let's Get Free was out, and
Yeah.
I had come out of school with certain mentality, and I was just not with the shit, you know what I'm saying? As they say, you know, and kind of just like we gotta build our own, and you know, and we gotta do it now, and you know what I'm saying, we gotta stop this, we gotta stop that, we gotta fight this, we gotta fight that. So I was doing a lot of stuff in the community around police brutality. At the time, there was a police officer named Cornell Young Jr. who had been murdered by his own police force. He was a Black officer that was murdered by his own police force. And yeah, like he literally got murdered like right around the corner from me. I remember hearing the gunshots, and yeah, I was just activated on that level. Like, you know, we need to stop this. We need to end this. But also, you know, just, you know, very, in a sense, naive to the struggle of, you know, social change and the challenges of it and the complexity of it and the traumas that are involved. You know what I'm saying? So,
yes.
But I was just going hard. You know, I was just like, that was just me. I always had a
Dead
flyer.
prayers, and I felt that.
I was passing out some type of event, some type of rally, some type of meeting, you know, trying to get people out, constantly just doing that. And, you know, that's kind of when we crossed paths. I actually, the first time I remember meeting her, I you know, we met before that, but the first time I really remember was I was at a dance party at a college, and I went there to hand out flyers for this like rally or something, or like you know what I mean, something in the community. So like, you know, I'm just like walking through the crowd, like everybody's dancing. I'm like, you know, there's a rally today, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, this is a movie, dude.
Yeah,
this is a movie. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Do you know about such and such? Do you know what's going on? You need to come out. You know, that was me. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, everybody's trying to party and shit. They're like, yeah. Okay, cool. You know.
Oh, yeah.
But that's the first time I remember like actually, you know, really kind of engaging with her. I don't know what we talked about. We had a quick conversation, and then, you know, I moved on throughout the crowd and then left. You know what I mean? I wasn't there to party. I was trying to like, okay, there's a party tonight. All right, I'm gonna hand out these flyers.
I'm gonna go to the party and get to the people.
Yeah. So anyway, that, you know, we were both doing spoken word stuff, and, you know, basically Key always beat me, you know, pretty much.
Yeah.
You know, we be in the thing, you know what I'm saying? And like,
I think we lost her.
Yeah. See if she joins.
You know, I really thought she was talented, and well, I knew she was talented, and I was just like, you know, we should work on some songs together. She was always around, we were always around each other.
Cool.
And so, you know, we started out as friends, just making songs, and the name itself, Riders Against the Storm, comes from a group called Sweet Honey in the Rock, and they had a song called Ella Song, which was a tribute to Ella Baker. And they took lyrics, or they took words from one of her speeches, and talk about passing the torch to the young who will run against the storm. And so we chose Riders Against the Storm. Like, I was listening to the song one day, and she was over at the apartment, and I was just like, hey, what do you think about Riders Against the Storm? And our first show ever was opening up for Dead Prayers, actually. Yeah, so we won a contest. Like, our first 3 songs that we wrote, we performed them, like, you know, for the tryout or whatever. We ended up winning. So our first show ever was opening up for Dead Prayers, which was like, you know, which was cool, you know, because a lot of what they were doing was resonating where we was at and what we was doing in the community. So
y'all had recorded those, like a little demo or whatever, or sorry, you said
bro, we didn't have the money, we didn't have
okay, they just performed the song.
Just performed them at a contest, and that's how you got the show. That's,
you know what I mean? You know, people used to pass around beats on CDs or whatever.
Yeah.
And you know, or you have instrumentals from songs, you know, singles or whatever. Yeah, no, we didn't. There wasn't really a lot of studios, and you know, there wasn't really a lot of that back in that time, like in the early 2000s. Like, if someone had a studio, they was like, that was crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
And NPC, there were the people to go to.
You know what I'm saying?
What was the name of
that was like the spot. If they had it, that was like the spot, and it was like, you know, a thing. But you know, so we just memorized the joints and went and performed them.
What was the name of the Sweet Honey in the Rock song that you got?
Ella's song.
Ella's, about Ella Baker. That's right.
Yeah, Ella's song.
Okay.
And I got a question real quick. Not to change the topic, but Riddler of CVE from the West Coast is an old friend of mine, Riddler of Chillin' Villain Empire. So those were the first people I ever toured with, and 2Mex. It was 2Mex and the CVE crew. So I grew up with them, and when I was coming up on hip hop shows, those were the first guys who put me on underground. And then when I heard a track that y'all did with him, and I know that you visit him frequently. Me and Riddler are still very close whenever chance he comes to town. But when I heard that song that y'all did with him, was it around that time of the early 2000s or?
Nah, man. We met Riddler like probably 2010. We just went to a juice land to get some food, and he was chilling there.
No, it was
That's some Austin shit. I went to
no, it wasn't Juice Land. It was Mr. What's his name?
Mr. Naturals.
Mr. Naturals.
Oh, Mr. Naturals. Yeah. Mr. Naturals.
Shout out to Mr. Naturals.
Shout out to Mr. Naturals. Dead ass.
And he was just
that place was around before I ever saw Juice Land popping off.
No, dead ass. Shout out to Mr. Naturals.
Shout out. Yeah, he was just chilling there, and we were meeting with Dorian from the Arun Center, and we were talking. I think he might have overheard.
And Robin Rather. Remember that? It was Robin Rather. It was Dan Rather's daughter and us.
Oh shit.
Why did I was about to say, was she on the news?
It was Robin Rather's daughter, Dorian Lassard, and Shaka. We were hanging out.
So we had done a party at the Arun Center. It was like a tribute to MLK. But like, you know, because when we were in Providence, we were doing this party, but it was like a tribute to like the radical side, because like a lot of people don't know, like after I Have a Dream speech, like he just got more and more radical. Like by 69, like
he was talking about the money.
He was on a different page. So you know, we were doing events in Providence before we came down here. So we just like, okay, we're gonna do that down here. And we did an event called RAS, I think for 2 or 3 years. That was an extension of that. But yeah, man, Robin Rather, I think she read about it somehow it got written up in the Chronicle, like a little blurb or whatever, and she reached out to us. So we're at Mr. Natural. Long story short, we were at Mr. Natural with Dan Rather's daughter, the founder of Arun Center, and I think he just overheard us talking, and then like after the conversation with her was over, we're still chilling, and we just kind of connected. We started talking. Oh no?
No, you saw Riddler, and you're like, I need to know who this nigga is. Like,
because he looks like.
Yeah, he's like,
shout out to Riddler. Shout out to Riddler.
I need to know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that that makes a lot of sense. So anyway, yeah, we ended up talking. We had a CD on us, and you know, I gave him the CD, and like he ended up hitting us up. He's like, "Yo, like this is dope. Like, you know, like we should connect." And we've been lifelong friends since then. Like, you know, actually because initially we were Boom Baptist was kind of backing us up a little bit at a time. We had different like scenarios, different setups, but we didn't have a live band at this point. So he became our like, you know, kind of like our backing. Like he had Ableton, and he would do our beats and stuff, and like we did a lot of our early shows with him.
Shouts out to, we've mentioned him enough. I think it's about time we get only on.
It was just like I was just looking at you like, damn, this thing keeps coming up. We got
man.
Noah, you set that up, man. Let's get him on.
Definitely unsung. He's definitely unsung, man.
Yeah, he's
really.
Shout out to Boom Baptist, man. Mad love for him.
Transcending genres too, man. Like, you know, like I was in a kind of a completely different place in those years, and Boom Baptist was very relevant in our scene, the sound system scene.
Yeah,
he was relevant in ours too. He was one of the first people to really kind of like effectively bridge that shit in the way.
They had that resident.
I think that might be how we started hanging out. Is
Maybe.
It like
they had a residency. He did that thing in Barcelona too.
Yep, I used to come to Barcelona all the time. Right. That might have been where we met, fool. That's funny. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, sorry. These moments, the connections that come up are the best part of doing this. I swear.
It's super Austin, and I don't think that anybody that's not from Austin, but what I love about it is being able to detail history. So if anything ever does happen, right, or when it does happen, a motherfucker will be able to go back and listen and be like, I heard him say this, I heard her say this in their own words. It's a function of collecting data. It's a function of history.
Right. Back to the writer's story. So you didn't have the demo yet, but you did the Dead Prez show. You kind of solidified as a group, I'm assuming. And but you said you had a CD to hand off once you were in Austin. So when did you get your first recording made?
Not long after that?
Yeah, no, I think our first recording came out in 2005.
Okay, first writers recording in 05.
And it was called Everybody Dig. It was called Everybody Dig.
Like a command?
Song, huh?
It's like a command.
It was kind of a double entendre. It was just like everybody dig, get to work. It was also like everybody
dig, like listen.
Yeah. So it was clearly our first attempt at working together. But it was solid in heart. It was solid in like, you know, our ideas and you know, our feelings and our kind of our imprint moving forward. It was really solid in that regard. But I feel like that came out in 2005, and the record that we produced and that we came here with was called Speak the Truth in 2009. So we had, you know, Shaka is very good in that regard and being like, okay, it's time to move. He's a strategist. He's like, okay, it's time to move. Like, we got to get out of here. Okay. So at some point, maybe around the end of 2007, 2018 for sure, he was just very intent on like, okay, it's time for us to leave here. So, and we got married in 2007. So just to give you an idea, like the record, our first record came out in 2005. We got married in 2007. We moved here in 2009. So, yeah, he's very good at that. So I feel like, you know, that was the point. We were like, okay, if we're gonna move, we were also had a comedy group at the time called In-House Freestyle. Wow. And so it was amazing. It was the only all-Black sketch comedy group in Austin. We had one of our characters run for president. I'm sorry. Yeah, in New England. We had one of our characters run for president in 2008, and people actually voted for him. Huh?
What was it? You talking about
Snuggles?
Yeah, the nigga that used to be like, the rent is just too goddamn high. That's who you talking about?
No. That's the real dude back in that's some other guy back in New York in the last election or whatever. That's your man. I know. That was your man. But before that, preceded that, so I'll give you a real quick. So we had this comedy group called In-House Freestyle. I started it with some friends. I was trying to continue it with this mentee that I had. And then like for her project, I was just like, well, why don't we used to do this comedy group. I had a comedy group with the kids in the schools. And then I was like, for her main, she had to do like a senior project or whatever. So what if we just brought this in-house freestyle back, and we actually like do it, and that can be your like project, because she loved comedy, she loved being on stage and shit. I was like, okay, let's do it. But then it actually became a real thing. Shaka was a part of the initial crew kind of later on when we started doing it. It was me and this other brother and this other sister. We started it, and then Shaka came on later, and then it stopped, and then we restarted it with this student, and then it became like a real collective thing that we put out into the community. So it was really incredible because it's also still in keeping in the sense that we used comedy, like we had our comedy, we did dumb, you know, ridiculous shit or whatever, right. And had some legitimate writings and stuff like that, and we toured and all that, but we also used it as an opportunity, the shows that we produced, not the ones we got hired for.
Right, like this is y'all shit.
Right, we would put in whatever community issue was going on. So if there's police brutality going on, we put it in the show, but also we'd have an organization that would be representing for anti-police brutality work with a booth there, so that as soon as people got like activated and got knowledge about what the particular scenario was happening in the community, they could go directly get activated as soon as they were at the show. So now that was kind of our model and continues to be our model. But so Shaka and I, you know, I think Shaka was working in the schools, and he was just tired of seeing the military recruiting the kids in the schools when they had one college fair that basically, you know, what are you telling these kids in the hood when the recruiters can be at lunch with them, hanging out in the hallways with them, all that, and one college fair? What are you saying? You right?
They're trying to get me.
I'm trying to get you. So, you know, so Shaka basically created this character to kind of like clown the whole situation, to kind of help with the idea that it's okay to deter from feeling like that had to be an option for you. You know what I mean? But this character, Snuggles, He had like one arm, he had Coke bottle glasses, snaggletooth, the whole ain't talk like this, you know, he's a black guy. But eventually he became this beloved character because he could dance. He could dance really good. Like the guy who was playing him was an incredible dancer, like Alvin Ailey level. Great. Great dancer. So he could really communicate with his body. And so he would, you know, that was Snuggles' little thing. Like he'd get dissed and dumb shit would happen to him. But then like at the end of the day, like he'd be able to dance and stuff. So people like, go Snuggles, you know. And so we realized after a while of working with this character, it's like, oh, well, what options did he have? Like he got roped into. He still lives in the community. He wasn't trained to do anything else, you know, and he's still struggling like everybody else. So who is this guy? And what if we could use his story to actually send out a message? So Shaka was like, why don't we have him run for president? He could tell you the rest if he wants to.
Yeah, I mean, it was yeah, I mean, you know,
a great story, by the way.
The thing that people got to realize is that, like, you know, we're doing all this just because we want to do it. Like, you know, this is before like Instagram and all this stuff, and like, you know, this wasn't like, this was just like one huge art project that we just collapsed into. We just went full. This was not, we weren't making money. Like, this was just something that we were just excited to do. And so like all these ideas and things that we were doing them because we just like wanted to see like what would happen and how people will respond. And like what we were realizing and coming into knowledge of is just like our own power as artists and how we can create worlds and realities with our words, with our ideas. We definitely were not anywhere near fully realizing, we're still not there yet, but we've grown a lot. But at this stage, we were just like, hey, look, this is an idea, let's do it. And we had enough people around us that are like, yeah, let's do it. Enough crazy.
Oh shit, we can do this shit.
Me by myself being like, yeah, we should have run for president. It would have stopped there, you know. But like we had enough people in our community that were like, this is a great idea. So like it just unfolded. So we had commercials on TV. We have flyers. He had a website with a platform. We took all the iconography from Obama, like the O with the flag in it, but we put it in his glasses. So it was like, you know what I mean? It was like, you know, his glasses were the OO, you know, and 8, right. And you know what I mean? Like we did this whole thing. He spoke at events. Like he, you know, on the anniversary of Katrina, he went out and gave this whole speech to people. It got to the point where people didn't know if you came to our shows and you knew the character, then you knew you were in on the joke. But like if you didn't, you didn't know, because literally he was on TV like, vote for me. Right.
I remember seeing the dude, like, and it's funny now, like I can see it in my head. But
and again, this is before like, you know, even Facebook like this, like all the sharing opportunity, like.
But even still, it was getting shared. Like people, it traveled.
Kind of similar to how what's dude's name who does Ali G and Borat.
Borat.
Oh, Sacha Baron Cohen.
Sacha Baron.
It was Borat on a budget.
Right. But similar idea because
Borat on a budget, like, you know. So we, you know, because we just doing it. Like we go, you know, we found out how much a commercial costs. You know, we raised the money to do it. We did it, and like again, this was just us. It was like a big art project. Right. And we were just going for it and loving it and having fun. And, you know, we were writing his speeches. Like me and Key would like write his speeches, and then he would go out, memorize them and go and deliver them at events. And so it got to the point where people, you know, just thought this was like a real dude. Like if they didn't know they went in on a joke, they thought he's just a cat that was running for president. So we go to this cable access show, and there's this guy, he does like basically like takes on like people of color in politics, and he like interviews them and you know, they can talk about whatever they're running for or whatever things that happen in the community. So he has this cable access show that he does like every week, or it's probably every couple of weeks or whatever. I forget the name of it, but we got him to invite Snuggles on the show. So awesome. So he's getting ready to, like, you know, we got his platform, we got his whole thing, you know. I'm in there with, like, you know, flyers, and I'm like, you know, giving.
Is he running under the name Snuggles?
Yeah.
Sergeant Snuggles.
That's his fucking job. Come on, my nigga. That shit is brilliant.
So we're getting ready to go and talk to, you know, the guy, like, you know, they're getting ready to set up, and one of the, you know, it's a cable access show, so the people behind the camera, this is all people from the hood, from the community. You know, it's all volunteer, and they get trained, and you know how that is. So, you know, he had a prosthetic leg, and he goes up to Snuggles, and he's like, yo, I feel you, because Snuggles has no arm, and he pulls up his pants, and you see this metal leg, and me and the guy that's playing Sergeant Snuggles are just like looking at each other, and we just had to roll with it. Like, we had to keep that thing going, because we're not gonna be like, yo, this is all a joke, bro. You know what I'm saying?
That's the real
like,
hard part of the performance.
He was like, yo, I feel you. Like, he was like, I know, I feel you. It was like connection. It was like, and we're both like, yeah, man, all right, word. You know,
on the surface it might seem like trickery, but really, like, the emotions he got out of it were authentic.
Well, that's the whole thing.
That's the thing about it.
That's the whole thing. It's just like, at some point, the other point that we were trying to make, you know, in essence, or maybe the point that came out was just like, well, what's the difference between Snuggles and these cats who are actually running for president? Who's right? Someone's writing their speeches. Someone is setting them up. Someone is scheduling their stuff. Someone is, you know, organizing their platform for them. Right. So what's the difference? Is he a character or Snuggles a character?
Again, deeper, it can show that real people can be involved in this shit. So many people like to act like all politicians are bought and sold. Some of them are real people who get into this shit because they care. Mm-hmm. Now, it's kind of hard to decipher sometimes, right? But I think the younger people especially are proof of that.
Yeah, AOC, shout out to AOC.
Exactly. Shout out to AOC, Corey Bush.
Yeah. So it might have been an actor, and it might have been his speeches were getting written. That's what's happening with the puppets, but really it shows that, you know, anyone can do it.
Yeah, and we were all very politically active, you know, at that time. You know what I'm saying?
It might take someone who knows what they're doing behind it.
Right.
It's fucking hilarious to me. Like, I mean, I've known y'all for years, and that's one of the things that I never fucking like. That's
if cool. you go on Facebook, he still has his Facebook page up, Sergeant PT Snuggles. Perseus Tyrone.
Oh, yo. That nigga's name is Perseus?
Yeah. Perseus Tyrone Snuggles, yes.
Tyrone.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, no, it was a thing, man. It was a whole thing.
No, it was, we got locked in.
So let's go here. Like, I want to know, like, when, like, that moment where y'all realized, where y'all took the jump. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that's crazy. I feel like y'all held hands and jumped off a cliff together. You know what I'm saying? And to me, that's amazing, the amount of trust in one another, and the amount of trust in your abilities, and your amount of trust in the universe to even, like, take that jump. I kind of want to know, like, when was it like, man, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Like, what was that moment like?
Marriage?
It was right around that time, to be honest.
No, I mean, I don't mean marriage. I mean, like, artistically.
Oh, artistically.
You know what I'm saying? To where y'all was like, yo, we're really gonna commit to doing this art, for better, for worse. And I mean, I guess that is kind of like a marriage, but I don't mean like y'all's personal marriage. I mean y'all's marriage to doing to the art. Right.
Mm-hmm. I think it was right around that time, to be honest. Because we were kind of just understanding our power. Like, that was a shift for me. Like, I can say within myself, was like, yo, we really did something here. We tapped into something here. But it was also around that time we were throwing these house parties, and you know, it was like for our peers, like mostly, you know, teachers, activists, or community organizers, folks in the quote unquote struggle, as we used to say back in the day. They would come to our house, and we would have these parties, and they would be talking about these parties like weeks and months afterwards. And we started to just realize that we have something unique together, that, you know, in-house freestyle was us and two other people, but like, we were really the engine behind it. Like, a lot of the ideas and a lot of the follow through to make it happen was us. And so we just had to kind of like acknowledge that, you know, there's something special that we have together that we need to like fully invest in. Right. And we just need to figure it out. So once we figured it out, then it was like a little bit moment of like kind of fear and trepidation and a little bit of just sadness, I guess, for me personally, just like kind of like, it's like shedding, I had to become a new person. So like the person that I was, you know, had to kind of die. And I didn't know who the, you know, what the next thing was going to be. So like, I think there was like a lot of fear because a lot of my life had really been about other people, have been about serving other people, you know, being a teacher and like, you know, we didn't even talk about, I was running a nonprofit arts organization called True School Studios, where we were, me and my friend, Angel Garcia, were taking kids off the street and like teaching them how to like do all types of stuff in the art because these kids were getting arrested for bombing and tagging and stuff. So like a lot of my identity had been centered around giving to other people and helping other people. And so like, I know like for me personally, I didn't, you know how to just like invest in just give to myself and just invest in myself and just like build myself, you know. I just didn't know how to do that. So like that person that didn't know how to do that had to die. Like that person had to like, I had to leave him in Providence, you know. And so part of like coming to Austin, you know, my name changed and I became what I needed to become to reach the next level. But, you know, it was, I think we definitely realized around 2008, 2009, like we got to change and we have to let the old kind of servant, or at least I could speak for myself, like you know, just like really like most of my life was about giving to others. And I had to like really start to focus on myself and feed myself and really pour into myself. I know specifically like in the classroom, I used to tell, you know, the young people in the class, like, you know, don't listen to them, like, you know, just believe in yourself. And, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, pumping all this stuff into them. But I was like, you know, well, what do you want to do?
Yeah,
you know?
right.
I'm not seeing any future, like my future self, like being in the classroom 20 years. Like, so what are you going to be about? Like, what is your destiny? Like you don't see yourself in this little box, this little matrix thing that is this education system. Like, okay, well, you know, what are you going to be? Who are you going to be? And what do you want? Right. And so like, just those thoughts and conversations internally, externally, like, you know, it was like a death that needed to happen and like a rebirth.
And you jumped.
Yeah.
That's the part of the story that I kind of would like. You jumped. Y'all jumped in.
To move was there, and can obviously understand why from what you just said. And Key, you said that Shaka usually, he kind of has the instinct on what's next or whatever, but why was it Austin?
There's a lot of reasons for that. I will say first and foremost, spiritual intervention. We started getting signs, you know what I mean? We were in consult with some people that allowed us to kind of like figure out that Austin was the place for us. And also Shaka was friends with Martin Perna, who was one of the founders of Antibalas and Acote Soul Sounds with
Shout out to Martin. And he was a figure in Austin at that time, but he was also just touring all over the world with Antibalas. And they just, and this is how ill, they just got nominated for a Grammy this year.
Yeah, I saw that on the Grammy list, and I was like,
yeah, Antibalas just got nominated for a Grammy this year, but that tells you how much work people put in, how many years it could take for anybody. Like some people it's right off the bat, some people it's like, some people never. Bob Marley never got a Grammy.
He's still Bob Marley though.
Yeah, I mean, you know. So where was I? So we moved here. Martin Perna, Shaka knew him because they used to be a part of this collective that worked on this magazine, this political magazine called Blue Magazine. They met at retreat. He said he was moved. Martin was like one of them cats that was the head of everybody. So he was already running his car on vegetable oil. He was the first person we smoked a vaporizer with. Like he was always like ahead of some stuff, right?
You hear that plastic bag joint? Like this is but this is like, bro, like this is way before like
early.
This is like 2000, like, you know, 90, 98, 99.
He was one of those. I know a couple of those guys. They were just
back in New York. So is that back in New York or is it in Rhode Island?
He was in Brooklyn.
He was in Brooklyn.
Yeah, I know Martin. I know Martin a while back from Patrick Murray, but he's amazing. He's such an amazing person.
Yeah.
Really, truly, just a great heart. So he was. Shaka remembered that he said that he was moving to Austin. He was trying to find a new location to help with his mother's health, etc. And so we, you know, when we were making those decisions, Shaka was like, "Oh yeah, Martine's down there. Let me see what's up with Martine." So he hit up Martine, and Martine was like, "Well, actually, I'm headed to Venezuela like the next day or whatever." Say it again, Nicaragua. He was heading to Nicaragua to go see his wife because she was doing her doctorate there, her doctorate work there. But he said, "I got someone living here right now, but you're welcome to stay here. The key's under the mat. Just come check out Austin." So that's, you know, we packed up our stuff. We went on, you know, we went to a bunch of different places. We went to Chicago. We went to go see a Black off the grid village in this township just outside of Chicago, farming folks, Black farmers, etc. We went to go stay out there for a little bit and connect with them. Shout out to Dr. Jafunza Wright. Jafunza Wright. Which one is it? Jafunza Wright. She actually used to be Kanye's pediatrician. Like, you know, just real people. I mean, people who are brilliant. And we were just kind of, and then we had some other friends that were living off grid. We kind of thought for a second that might be our life. We had some other friends up north. We went to go hang out with them that summer too, in upstate New York, outside of what's the name of that town? Anyway, upstate New York. And they were living off the grid. You know, we went to Atlanta. All Black people going to Atlanta at that point. We're like, maybe Atlanta, but we didn't. I liked Atlanta, but it wasn't the vibe. Like, I didn't feel like we were supposed to be there. So Austin was a part of that tour. So we went there, stayed in New York for a little bit, came to Austin. And I don't know, it just clicked. It just felt good. It just felt there was space. It felt like there was space. At that time, there was space.
At that time.
Yeah, at that time, there was just like space, you know, and the people were like really inviting. I'll never forget driving down 35, taking the corner to get off the ramp, and this white lady follows me off the ramp, and we stop at the light, and she says she just saw my license plate, and she was like, I see that you're from New York or whatever. I just wanted to say hi, welcome to Austin. I'm from the East Coast. I'm like, what do you want?
You like that?
I'm like, what did I do to you? Like, why are you talking to me right now? Like, you know?
That hospitality, that's real. Not a lie. That's real shit.
No,
it's
like
real.
that.
And I think of all the places that I know of, like live music capital of the world is questionable, but the fraternity, the fraternity that musicians have for each other here is very real.
It's very real, and it has been for years. Okay. It has been for years.
And on that, not to change the subject, bringing up Blaine and Ayuma. You know what I mean? The youth today, when you're talking about the future, I want to kind of touch up on that. You know, much respect and appreciation to, you know, representing the Filipino community, because I am Filipino, but seeing Blaine come up and he's still working hard and he's highly influenced by you guys, you know, touching up on that, how is that, you know, connection to touching the future today and stuff like that? And how is Ayuma Blaine, you know, he's kind of a big shining star for me in my heart, and it warms my heart to see what he's doing and how he's blossoming on a whole different level too because of you guys.
Shout out to Filipinos. They're doing it in music industry right now, man. Straight up.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So did you guys just start teaching him music, or what was y'all's influence, or how did y'all get with him?
We knew his mother in the community first.
Yeah, his mom came to Body Rock. He's like a regular body rocker, you know what I'm saying? And then you know, a lot of our friends, like, we met through, you know, the party, Body Rock party, or things like that. And so, like, we see him enough, and then, you know, we just kind of like, oh, what are you doing? Okay, what are you doing next week? You know, we just built relationships. And so when we got to know her, we got to know her family. And, you know, Blaine was like just like a young, awkward kid, man, like 14, 15, that could play the saxophone like crazy, you know what I'm saying? And but like every time I saw him and we was in a public house, like, you know, where's your sax? Where's it at? Like, let's, you know, play it. You know what I mean? I would always just try to encourage him to play. And he, you know, he was a young kid, nervous about playing, but he would just kill it. Like every time, be like, wow, I I can't believe that's coming out of him right now. And then, you know, he grew into himself, but you know, a lot of that was through a program that I do called Legacy ATX, where you know, I remember, you know, he was, I don't want to say just a saxophone player, but because he was an all-state saxophone player, but like he pretty much just played sax and a little bit of keys. And I was like, you know, get on GarageBand, man. What are you waiting on? You know what I'm saying? He got on GarageBand and just started, you know, mastering that.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, boom, like that took you 3 weeks. All right, now get on Logic. And so then he became this beast, and like within a year, I don't know, like maybe he's 18, 19, you know, like I'm like, yo, you know, let's work on some music together. Like we became peers, you know, musically, you know, he's been, you know, what's the word, virtuoso type, you know, just a very highly skilled, but
highly skilled individual.
You know, as like a peer in terms of like being able to collaborate and make something, you know, he had reached that level. So, you know, he's got 4 songs on this record. We did a whole remix album with him. He's you know, Blaine, like I think there's no limit. Like at one point I was actually managing him, but I had to like kind of let go of that. Just because, you know, he's young, he's still young, but he's got infinite potential, man. Like that kid is like unbelievable. And so, you know, I try to continue to mentor him where I can and help out where I can. And, you know, we love working with him. And he makes great music and he's a great person.
Thanks for that question, Noah. That like really does speak volumes about exactly what we're saying about, you know, the music, the community in Austin. You know, what I find interesting is y'all had a couple different choices. You ended up in Austin. Fast forward to like what we've been talking about at the beginning of the show with what you've been doing for the community during the winter storms and how y'all just become representative of the place. You made it your home and really became a part of it. You know, maybe that's because of the jump you had to take, you recreated yourself, whatever, but it's not because it was like the place you were born. It's because it's your home. Get back to it. And do you think that was in Austin, like Divine ended up being the right place to be? You felt the vibe and really became part of it?
Yeah. I think it was definitely destined to happen, you know. I think
because it's kind of a trip.
No, y'all have evolved into Austin representatives in a real way. You know what I mean? Like,
when I first saw y'all that show I was talking about, I didn't know you weren't from there. You know what I mean? Like I just assumed that you know, that y'all were already part of the community.
Yeah, I think like part of that is our social justice training and background. Is just like if you're going to be a part of a community, but you have to be a part of the progress of it. You have to be a part of investing the shift of it. Otherwise, you're just a colonizer. You know what I mean? You're just reaping. It doesn't matter your color. You could still be a colonizer of an area because you're not respecting what was there before and you're not investing in what is currently there. You're just reaping and then you outsource, or you're just reaping and you're not connected or concerned. There's an ecosystem there. You can't just like put your building up and not care what happens to the wildlife there, although that happens all the time. So that's the whole thing. It's the same thing artistically. It's the same thing on a interpersonal human level. If you're going to transplant yourself somewhere, there has to be some concern and investment for what's going on there. And we just love people, you know what I mean? Like, that's just us. Like, we just love people. Like, if we're going to go anywhere, you know, we at some point become engrossed in it, even if we're not there in a very long time. Like, you know, I think also it's part of Shaka's like strategic brain. Like, he's just like, well, where are the people who connect people? So, and that's a way to make sure that we can source this part of the community, this part of the community, this part of the community. You know what I mean? Like, people don't get like, we know all kinds of different sectors of, you know, the community. You know what I mean? I'm talking about every single sector. Like, who's the leader in the kink community? Who's the leader? Who are leaders in the queer community? Who are the leaders in, you know, the civic sector? Who are the leaders in, you know, in business? Who are the folks who kind of have their reins and understandings and connections to the landscape? You know, part of that is being able to service intelligently And part of that is just like a human connection. Like all of these things make up what we're living in. So you can't neglect them or act like they're not there or pretend like it's not part of it. Like, you know what I mean? It all matters, you know, in the spiritual community, all of it.
Right. So it's like, instead of, because we always complain about gentrification and shit, but when somebody comes and actually like pours into the soil, you know what I mean, to a point to where it's like, damn, like you pretty much local. The first time me and Tay Dre Scott ever got paid for a show was these two.
Wow. It was Shaka.
Yeah, well, Shaka, you know what I'm saying?
It was Shaka.
I think he was, yeah.
I didn't know y'all. Shaka knew y'all.
That was even before, yeah. Well, that was the first time me and Tay ever got paid for a show.
What?
I don't even know if Shaka knows that.
What?
That's crazy.
At the Violet Crown.
Oh, you don't know that you go in Austin and you're a local musician that you just play for free for a few years before they ever pay you shit. Y'all came in there with the respect already. You already knew you were to be respected, maybe.
It was cool because
it's not even that, because trust me, like our first thing, we were getting 20% of the bar. You know what I mean? Like, we did plenty of stuff like that. But for me, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna pay the people. That's like, if I'm putting this thing together, people are gonna get paid. And so that was it. I didn't realize that was the first, because I had seen y'all at Scoot-In. Y'all was on the show at Scoot-In, and I think I freaked Reggie out that night because I had met his mom's in the crowd, and I was like, "Oh, that's your son?" And like we had this conversation, and like I went up to him and I was like, "Man, your mom is amazing!" Like, I think he was like,
"What are you talking about, bro? What?"
Yeah, like
not a good introduction to meet somebody, nigga. Like, are you my dad? What the fuck, man?
I think who is this dude? And Tay was like that too, but you know, I was just being me, you know what I mean? And
well, the more that I know you, I've grown into, you know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, that nigga is like, nah, I get it. But yeah, you did.
That's cool. You attributed value to Reggie and Tay and the Bully. You're like almost like, you know, that night might have been the reason that they were going to get paid from now on.
Actually, I don't think, I mean, we might have did some other free shit after that, but it was just because we wanted to. And it was at the Violet Crown. It was because the Tribe Called Quest movie that Michael Rappaport did.
Yeah.
And then like
I was there that night.
Huh?
They did a little premiere there.
Yeah.
I was there that night.
You was there?
I'm pretty sure.
Now, wouldn't that be funny if that was the night we really fucking met? Like, you know what?
That's crazy.
But
that Will Bridges too for the first time.
Will Bridges, and that's shout out to Will.
Yeah.
Shout out to Will.
Shout out to Will for real.
Y'all's adaptability is it's respectful. The adaptability you show to just come into a new place and, you know, kind of like start spreading out roots. Austin's this kind of all-encompassing place is what they want to look like, but it's still separated. We know it is. There's still like divide, even to this day. Even though barriers have kind of slowly been broken down. I don't know. It's hard to say. The music is hanging on, but it's still there, you know. But today, you might be the reason people look back on writers is kind of like part of the reason that, you know, hip hop was allowed in other places or like broke. You know what I mean? Like there was more. It wasn't just a hip hop or rap show, but like the performance, the live music. Like y'all came in as outsiders, spent all this time here, and might, you know, be the reason that new people have more opportunities later. I think that's really cool.
Sure. Like I
think that's something to highlight.
I know that's a fact. Whether people, you know, give credit or not, it's not like we're the only reason. But I know for a fact that like we've influenced a lot of change. You know what I mean? I can personally say that, like within the city and with venues and all types of stuff. Like, you know, us barking and being, you know, being assertive, like even if we didn't get the opportunity, somebody got it behind us.
Somebody got this shot.
You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I can definitely say that for a fact.
Yeah, and I think one of the things Shaka would always say, that's manifested too, is just like, we didn't want to be considered, you know, the best hip hop.
Right.
We wanted to be considered some of the best music, period. So, you know, we literally shared the stage with all kinds of artists. You know, we just finally during the pandemic did a virtual lineup with Willie Nelson. You know what I'm saying?
Crazy, I saw that. Yeah.
Right. So, but like that's what Shaka said. It was just like, if Willie Nelson is considered the best, then we're gonna be on stage with Willie Nelson. If Gary's considered the best, we're gonna be on stage with Gary. If whatever rock, pop, whoever comes through, like we can we're not gonna be relegated to just hip hop music, because that's the issue. Is they keep just relegating it to hip hop, and they think that means that it can be dismissed. But that was a very deliberate call, you know. As Shaka was helping to kind of like map and visualize what we were going to, how we're going to structure ourselves, you know, how we're going to position ourselves. You know, it was that, you know, hip hop is just great music. It doesn't need to be relegated to just the, you know, to some sort of sector. You know, like Reggie, you know, Reggie can do any kind of music he wants. Reggie can sing, Reggie can write music, classical, I mean, he could just do all kinds of stuff. It's not just hip hop, and that goes for a lot of people who are in hip hop. I know they really do. They can rock, whatever, they can do it all, because they're making Black music, and Black music is the bedrock of American music. Like whatever American music that you know, jazz, rock, whatever, you know, house, techno, all of it. It all started with Black people. So it's important to acknowledge that. It's just like, no, like Black music is not relegated. Like American music is Black music. So there's no reason to sidestep anybody about it. But and all that, like Shaka was presenting all this stuff with the cities, like all this music that gets played in the city is Black music. Blues music is fucking Black music. Rock music is Black music.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
People think Austin blues, they think Stevie Ray Vaughan, but where do you think Stevie Ray Vaughan got?
Vaughan got that shit. And if Stevie Ray Vaughan was still alive, he would fucking tell you out of his own mouth.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Those are the people I respect. Reba McEntire, like she always says that. She's just like, Black music started by Black people.
Dolly, I love Dolly to tell you too.
Dolly will tell you too. They need to go ahead and give some of that money up. That's acknowledgement with that money, run that check.
They gonna run that check.
You know.
So I want to go into the album and what are you guys seeing coming up?
Because that's exactly what I was hoping you'd ask.
We're seeing, you know, I love the backstory, and I actually learned, I've known y'all for, like I said, Shaka paid me, the first nigga to ever give me a check for doing the show was Shaka.
That's crazy.
Like, I don't know if it was a check or it was money. You might have gave me you gave us $100, $150. It was like, nigga. Yeah, that's serious. No cap. So we seen where you came from. We seen, you know, even before that, and we know you got a new album out. And
Flowers for the Living out now. Check it out.
Flowers for the Living on all platforms. Flowers for the Living. So
you got hard copies?
Or is it we're gonna come out with a vinyl.
We're gonna have a vinyl.
A little limited vinyl release or what?
Yeah, we're gonna drop a vinyl, and we're gonna do the pre-orders. If not next week, the week after, we'll have that. We're gonna have like merch, like special merch and stuff like that.
Cool. I was wondering that'd make for a cool capsule probably.
And you got to speak on the art too, because Shaka is actually a dope artist too. Like I want to buy some paintings from him, but I can't buy one yet because I cannot devalue this man. No, and I'm not even being funny. I'm dead ass serious.
No, we talked about that before on
this. Yeah, but no, me and you have actually talked about that with artists. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. My walls would be covered if I could afford my friends.
Right. Dead ass serious. But I want to talk about that. Yeah. The design that you got a design on a beer can I just saw yesterday, bro. Like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah. Well, you want to talk about flowers first? What are we doing?
We can talk about flowers and then we'll go into that and then we'll go out.
Okay.
Mama side, my oh my. To the girls who obey and the boys don't cry. No flowers on my grave, cause I never die. Live your life afraid, die a million times. Bring the flowers to the liver, cause it's always time. Middle finger to the laws in the hand of God.
and I'll take. Hell no, we ain't waiting on you. Here's the Mardi Gras party and the flowers we grew. Let it break down, hear the populace loud. We're done with the sounds of the guns in the crowd. Walk on flowers like Prince Hakeem. Making more sense of the things I've seen. Angel in disguise, let me do my thing. Throw the flowers in the air so the people sing.
Yeah, man. So, you know, I've always, the vision for me has always been like anthemic music, you know, large scale, mass, whatever you want to call it. I don't call it pop music, but just like, you know, like very large scale production, stadium type shows, you know, where we can fully realize ourselves as artists with, you know, dancers and lights and, you know, all of it. So, you know, I think this is our step towards that. I think this is what we want people to understand, is that, you know, the music is big. It can fill that type of space, and this is where it belongs. You know, it doesn't belong in a, you know, 500 cap room or 1,000 cap room. It belongs in like really large spaces. So we're just gonna continue to push towards that. That's been like she was saying, like when we came here, I was like, you know, we want to be considered the best music in Austin. You know, that was a real legitimate thing that, you know, we stated from the first day we got here. We achieved that. So, you know, now the goal is like, you know, what I'm talking about, like, you know, large scale productions and performances with, you know, some of the greatest artists in the world. That's what Flowers for Living is setting us up for. That's what this is.
That's cool, man. I like the fuck out of what you just said, man. That's inspirational, seriously. It really is. And you got to position yourself for that too, and y'all did that. Position yourself for greatness from day one, you know?
Yeah. I mean, we both come from a long line of folks who are high achievers, you know what I mean? And it was an adjustment for them to deal with the derailment in their eyes of us wanting to make art. You know what I mean? You know, Shaka's family, you know, lawyers, judges, you know, sit on the New York State Supreme Court. I mean, just like very high achieving people. Mm-hmm. And, you know, like my family in Haiti, they were just like, again, like they were those folks, Black aristocracy, Black historical figures that shifted the colonial, you know, I mean, like,
yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. The energy. So it looked to them like that's not, you know, the format. That's not how you're going to do the high level thing. But I think our faith broadened their faith, which is a testament in and of itself. And it also expanded the idea of how things can make an impact and can change. And that shifted their heart, you know. And I feel like that's a testament to the fact that that's all you, like that adage of, you know, you can't change the world, you can only change yourself. Like, it's real. Like, you really have to change yourself, be confident in what you're changing, stay the course, do whatever you need to do to maintain that vision. If that means you got to go to friggin' therapy to get your mind to fucking not distract you from it, then you do that. And you know what I mean? If it means you have to sit your ass down so you can think clearly, if it thinks, you know, Shaka and I worked, we never had full-time jobs. Mm-hmm. And that was really, really hard to not have the bread while you got to talk to your high achieving ass family about why you don't have any money. You know what I mean? And you got degrees, and you know, you could have had X, Y, and Z option, and you know, what have you. But strategically, there's no way that we could have given the vision any energy if we was working full-time jobs. It can't happen. It just can't happen. So you gotta,
I think one of the things we really talk about on, especially here, is like, there's so many different scenarios of when you hit that wall, right? Of when you're like, fuck, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't get where I wanted to get in a certain amount of time, or, reality setting in, I need to make some different decisions. We talk to all different kind of artists, visual artists, painters, and all of that kind of thing. And the really interesting thing to me about y'all is being able to jump. You know what I'm saying? Like, to take that leap, to say, you know what, that takes a lot of fucking faith, fucking fortitude, like, especially when you ain't got that backing like that. And that's kind of the thing that I want to highlight, even about this particular podcast, is sometimes you can fucking jump. You got to have your ducks in a row, or you got to be real about, okay, we really doing this. But to see y'all jumping and make it out on the other side is inspirational to me, just, as a human, and being able to diversify, like Shock with the art. You see, you got the Basquiat hat on right now. You want to plug that, you know what I'm saying, or your shirts or whatever, brother.
Yeah, man. Nah, man. We've always been doing this. That's the thing. It's like, I started out doing the clothes like I was doing when I didn't have money. I would, I had paint, and I would get a shirt from, like, Hobby Lobby for like $3 and paint a shirt for somebody for their birthday, or, whatever. And, that was like how I, those things I could offer, so like the clothing line is an extension of that. Like, everything has this origin, you just encourage people, like, do what you can from where you're at with what you have, but keep that vision of yourself, that what you want to achieve, and never lose sight of that. And that's why people see a clothing line now. That's why they see the things that we're accomplishing now, is because, like, we were talking about these things 10, 12, 15 years ago, 16, 17 years ago, like even getting to the place where we're in a house now, you know what I'm saying? We were talking about that. Yeah, it took time, and it took, commitment and a lot of struggle, but at the same time, we got there. So I think, when people see the clothing line, it's like, this is what I do. Like, I create, and this is what I do, and I'm proud to see it, like, manifesting into some of those visions that I've had for, like, 10, 11 years, but everything at its pace. Like, I'm not trying to do it all at once.
You got a beer can with your heart on it. Like, let's not. And I understand, but, like, nigga, you literally got to fucking, you know what I'm saying? Which it even bleeds back into, even trying to help people. That shit is dope, man. I just don't want that to go unspoken and unsaid.
Yeah.
Like,
but I mean, again, this is something I was talking about, like, in 2008, 2009, so it's like, these things, like Key was saying earlier, like, sometimes they happen like that, and sometimes it's 10 years, sometimes it's, whatever, 5 years, but like, I literally remember, like, all these things that we've done. Like, I literally remember either writing them down, or, like, literally, like, visually, like, looking in the Chronicle, seeing headliners, and, like, just imagining my name in those headlines, and then opening. I was at ACL doing security for this W3 events.
I know W3.
That was one of the part-time.
I know the hustle.
I was one of the part-time jobs I had, and I remember two things. I remember doing overnight security at ACL, and being like, we're gonna play here, and then, like, maybe it's 3 years later we did that.
Did y'all do ACL Fest?
ACL Festival, yeah. And then
congratulations. I'll be on the bigger stage next time. I mean, I'm assuming you got another stage to go to.
Rapping chords and breaking down stages at Moody Theater, and I remember saying, like, we're gonna play on that. And then a few years later we did that. So again, it's like there's no like clear evidence of that. Like, I'm doing this job that's really, what was it paying? I don't know, $10 an hour, whatever it was. Humbling myself and just doing it because we needed the money. But still, like, had that in my mind, like, this is temporary. Like, I'm gonna be here. This is where I belong. and we just never lost sight of that. And it's not. Don't get me wrong. There's definitely days where you feel like, you know, maybe you were wrong.
I was gonna say, that being said, do you feel like it's all happening right on time? Are you playing catch up? Are people playing catch up? You know, like hearing about y'all, like, you know.
I have to let that go, man. You know, like I have
sure.
to let go, like any expectation, because
yeah,
you know, a lot of times even the people that, you know, I feel like I've given the most to, probably I get the least from, like, you know what I'm saying? But it comes back from other people. It comes back in other ways. Like, I feel like I've given a lot to the hip hop community. I don't know how much I've necessarily gotten back from the hip hop community, but it comes from all other dimensions and all the ways, and it comes back multiplied. So it's just like, you know, you gotta let go of the expectation of when it's gonna happen and who's gonna bring it to you, and how it's gonna come, what color the package is gonna be, and what the ribbon's gonna look like, and just know it's coming and just move accordingly.
That's a gem. We should let's drop the links. Where do people find you guys, specifically writers, and then from there, is that a good starting place to find your art and stuff as well?
But also, real quick, we didn't really actually touch base on the can. Tell them where they can get the can.
Yeah, the can.
All right, man. All right. So yeah, man. So
Reggie
look,
on the can, man.
So yeah, we got. I started something called Dawa. We didn't really touch on it. We touched on it earlier before this conversation.
Well, it's gonna be in here, yeah.
Okay, got you. So, yeah.
I'll edit it in. It's like kind of intro somehow.
Yeah. So you know, Dawa. One of the things that was organic that happened with Dawa that I want to make a part of our infrastructure is that during the pandemic, you know, artists, people that had yoga studios, Juiceland, people were like, all right, you know, I want to just connect. So like Juiceland has given us like profits from one of their juices, their juice of the month or whatever. So-and-so has a yoga studio over here. They're doing their Sunday class, and they're, you know, so all these different income streams, right? So what one of the goals is to have things like a product like a beer at a company like the ABGB, to have all these different income streams, so that we don't have to. One thing that, you know, I've been a part of nonprofit situations for a while, and usually one of the big ways that they raise money is they have these galas, you know, for all these rich people at the end of the year or at some point, and they put on this big show for all these wealthy people, so that, you know, these wealthy people will give them money. Like I want to have it so our income streams are consistent, and they're coming from so-and-so's like monthly, you know, open mic, even if it's $100 or whatever, like, you know, $1,000 here or whatever. So we're consistently having an infrastructure so that anyone can participate, anyone can contribute. And so the beer is just kind of like, it's an example of that. Like, we have a partnership with this company, and they're giving us a certain percentage of each can, you know, and that's just going to go into the fund, and this is going to be one of the streams that we have available to us. But I want to build those things up, so we have, you know, 20, 30 different streams coming in every month. And so we don't have to always be pushing and, you know, getting on Facebook, please donate. You know, we just have these things.
These things coming in.
Yeah. You know, Henry's working on a badass design. I'll send it over so you can show these guys. But for the episode, we have an awesome artist, H Train, who we partner with and does graphics for us. And he's done an illustration of you guys that is already looking real badass. Maybe we can put it on a shirt, post it online, and donate a percentage. Do some kind of collab like that. Yeah. Because you're already thinking of ways to do something like that. And that'd be
that's all day. Like, that's the thing I want to have. Because I mean, people don't have to be a big amount of money. Like, you know, whatever it is, like, it helps. And I want everybody to feel empowered that they could do that.
That's what's up.
Yeah. So the can is a character. The guy on the skateboard. I don't have a name for him yet, man. But Reggie kind of seemed like a cool name. Is something?
Yeah, I was actually just thinking that.
Oh, name it after me.
It's definitely R. It's definitely R. Like, he got R in the sneakers, but I never really figured out why. So I don't have a name for him yet. But anyway, the character I always envisioned, like, of him, like, showing up at parties and just being kind of like the life of the party. Like, he just pop up like anywhere. And they'd be like, oh, sure, Reggie's here, whatever, you know, like, turn up the party, right? So like I want to build that character into Austin or into whatever, and have him become a brand that represents Dawa in a fun way.
That's great.
So like, you know what I'm saying? Like I definitely want to do merch, hats, shirts, you know, all that. But again, that's off into the future a little bit, but that's the vision.
For now, that's an illustration on a beer can exclusively at the ABGB.
Exclusively at the ABGB. The beer is called Hell Yes.
Will they sell it to you closed there? Like
yeah,
take with you?
It's in cans.
It's cans.
Yeah, right. Well, I didn't know if they let you take it home or if it's something you had to order right there.
Yeah. We're doing a release on the 27th, and you know, we're gonna like, you know, just have some fun, you know, promoting it and everything. And
that's a cool spot.
I would love this, you know, manifestation. Definitely, like I want to have one that's in the stores, like that, you know, it's consistently like, you know, so it could be a larger profit thing. Because I mean, that alone could.
Yeah, even in the Austin stores.
What kind of beer is in the can?
Say it again.
What kind of beer is in the can right now?
It's a Helles beer. It's kind of like a Pilsner.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Like a Sam Adams type of vibe.
Yeah.
I buy that shit just on GP. Like, I saw that shit in the store, I'm like, fuck it, you know.
Exactly. And that's the thing. I think we could like really like make it cool. Like make it cool. Like,
too.
You know, you're buying this beer. You like the beer, but you also know that like, you know, a whole community is benefiting from it. So.
What about the mission these days, man? Anyone can spend money. It's like you got to vote with your money, man.
Right.
We shared it earlier. It's dawaheals.org, right? So where they can find the organization.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a Venmo and a Cash App for that as well, right?
Well, there's a Venmo. It's Dawa Heals, DAWAHEALS, and there's a PayPal, which is paypal.me/Dawa Heals. And you can go to the website and donate through the website as well.
And this is money, and this is like, I want to highlight, this is money that's actually going to people in the community. A lot of times, like you were saying, you got to go through the bullshit and the bureaucracy. You know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, my license out, bomb, here. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That kind of thing. And I think that's, you know, a lot of times, especially whenever the government is giving out money, it's a thing. But I really love that y'all are really getting it to people in need. And I want to highlight that it's not like some shit that goes through some other shit and nigga be taking out money. It's like, no, nigga, I'm literally giving this to people that need it.
Up until this point, but I gotta say, like, you know, we're formulating it into a 501c3. So at some point, you know, we're gonna have to have some staff, and we have a part-time. We got a grant from United Way. We have a part-time person right now. But everything that's been donated, every dollar that's been donated has gone back out to people. But at some point, we're gonna have to either get grants or whatever to have, you know, staff, because it's a lot of work.
It is.
And you know, I've been doing it with a few volunteers, but it's a lot of work. So another goal is
some bad motherfuckers, man.
Another goal to
do. That's what I'm saying. Doing all this at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, so I wanted to highlight it all.
We want to create an app, hopefully in the next like 12 months, because what woke me up, the emergency funding is something I think we could do and have a special, you know, a special funnel for that, or a special part of the fund for that, because I think that could be something that we could continue, but we would need an app and stuff like that. So we're looking into that right now. It's creating an app and incentivizing people to donate through the app.
It'd be easier for you than having all these people just texting your phone.
Oh, bro, it's not happening again. That's over. That's done.
I got a homie. He said he'll
my phone number.
I'll give you his number.
I'm still getting. I mean, I can only imagine on the other end. Like, you know, I try to think about it. Like somebody texts this number. They're like, I need help. They get $75 in they thing like in 2 minutes. I would be texting everybody too, like, hey man, look, say,
man.
I just texted this person, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? It blew up. It just obviously because, you know, it was so quick and so immediate, and people needed help. So yeah.
That's dawaheals.org, or you can do the Venmo at or PayPal.me/ or you can text Shaka direct.
Nope.
We're gonna put your phone number right here at the bottom of the screen, like flash this shit.
But where do people find y'all's art? Where do people find writers? Where do people find your art?
Right now, I'm probably a little while away from putting up like a website for my art, but
Okay.
they can if they follow me on Instagram, like I post my art pretty consistently over there. I'm at Shaka CHAKA SEELECT Shaka Select, and you know, they can find stuff that way. Or you know, the clothing is fresh2life.com, fresh2life.com. Yeah.
Can you got your
I
own
time for the website right now. I want to get that together, but
yeah.
Okay. All right. And I know Key, you doing your thing. I know you got like the earrings and shit. Like I've been looking at your earrings this whole fucking time, like being distracted by the joints. I know that's something you do too as well.
I do, but it's really more like a hobby, quite honestly. Like the work I do is really centered around spiritual healing, and getting people to kind of find their way through that. It's really I've kind of become more a bit deciding to be a bit more ninja with it. So I'm kind of I don't promote it as much.
Okay.
Because I really just kind of like it can be very intense work. So I don't promote it because I don't want it to just to derail at this point right now. I've decided I can't have it derail from our art. So I have like a client or two that I work with.
That's something that has to be personal too to you, right? Like not just anybody reaching out for, hey, I need some spiritual healing advice. You know, it's like, how can you help someone if you're not connected? You know,
right? Exactly.
So that's just, I don't know. I'm just speaking.
No, I mean, no, there are people who can help people. Like that's what they do. You know what I'm saying? That's what they do. It's work that I do. It's work that I've been initiated into. It's work I take pretty to heart. But I because of the intensity of the work, because of the fact that we have all these we got stuff coming up we haven't even talked about here. We can't even tell y'all, like,
yeah.
We'll just have to be back on when it's up and be like,
of course,
absolutely.
And whenever y'all want to come back, or whenever y'all got anything that we can pump and promote, like we'll pump it through our channel.
Pending Reggie's new father. Well, he's already a father, but new baby, we're gonna kind of decide when we're coming back.
Blessings on the way. Blessings on the way.
Lots of blessings.
Anyway, so
yeah,
do you have anything else you wanted to share?
So that's what we do. That's what I do in particular. But like, you know, there's a lot of people who feel great in the community, and a lot of that is the work that I do quietly.
That's great. You know, that's amazing.
At my altar, sending out vibrations.
I know. So I know.
And obviously body rock, you're doing work with
all of those things, like just being a pipeline for divine energy, and studying and knowing how to do that, and try to stay kind of quiet about it, quite honestly.
That's okay. So we're gonna say less. We're gonna leave that there.
Yeah.
And I really this went on a little bit longer than I anticipated it, but I have enjoyed every minute, you know what I'm saying? And you know, we do little edits here and there, but like you know, to cut the music in and shit like that. But man, I just want to tell both of y'all collectively and individually, I really appreciate your time and just like your candor, your honesty, your realness, and just like sharing your experiences with us. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't have to do that. And that's kind of one thing we really try to encapsulate is, you know, that openness, that honesty. Because a lot of times when you're talking to an artist, you can't get that. So thank you for
thank you for your time. It's such impact, man. Such impact on the history of Austin, Texas, man. Real talk, man.
Yeah, stay up on the Instagram. That's where you'll get to see the highlights for the vinyl.
Yeah, where is it? Writers, just at Writers Against
at RAS Hip Hop. Everything is
RAS Hip Hop.
Twitter's at RAS Hip Hop.
At the bottom right now, and then we're gonna put Shaka's number up under it.
Yeah. Do you think that'll change to just at RAS or at Writers Against the Storm?
Nah, I don't see it changing anytime.
You gotta keep your roots around, right?
Yeah, I mean, maybe when some other major things come along and we have to rebrand, who knows? But for right now, that's where you can find out
RAS hip-hop.
when the vinyl's coming out. We have like a domino set. Let me show y'all.
Oh, y'all got a domino.
I got bones? Man, that's
hold
innovative.
on. I did not know that.
So this isn't the right one, but there's a shoot, I gotta go into Shaka's office.
Nah, it's cool. Just do let me yeah. Damn. Nigga, I got domino set. You ain't gonna tell me about dominoes? I owe y'all some chicken wings too. Is that what it is?
We busy, man. You know what I'm saying?
Again, thanks for the time. Thank you.
No, we really do appreciate the time. No bullshit.
Yeah, this is our Flowers for the Living domino set.
Oh, shit, that's beautiful.
So there's actually real flowers acted inside of it.
Is it like resin?
Yeah, it's resin.
Cool. That's dope.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do it make the sound when you slam it?
It wouldn't be worth it if it didn't do that. There was a couple iterations that I created that it didn't do that because I didn't know how to cast it properly, and until it did that, it ain't nothing.
That's awesome.
We go end it like that. And we at the You Ain't Heard of Us podcast really appreciate you. Thank you for taking the time to speak with us.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
You know, y'all some friends of the podcast. So anytime you got anything, we can always come back and talk. And
it's great to get to know y'all better too, man. Like just off the stage, you know.
Appreciate y'all for having us. Your mic's off, Shaka.
Yeah, you muted us.
Where do I listen to y'all shit at?
So we're at You Ain't Heard of Us. That's on all the social platforms. You should be able to find us on any podcast platform where you listen to podcasts. It's easiest. We have a link tree / You Ain't Heard of Us. You can go there and it has all our links. But if you just type it in, you'll find us. And you can email us at youaintheardofus@gmail.com. Comments, critiques, suggestions. You can find Reggie at Mr. Kobe with the 0, C0BY. I'm at dosage_YAH. You ain't heard. And Noah?
I'm just ATX Rockstars. I keep it low key, but I might be popping out. We'll see.
Yep.
I'm connected to you guys. I don't never need to be, never need to post to know what's going down under, I appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, man. And this is the season finale, man. We'll catch y'all on the next season. Thank you guys for letting us out with a boom, man. This has been a great episode.
Man, we appreciate y'all for having us. It was fun.
Yeah, we're definitely, man. Definitely.
See y'all soon on the flip side, all right? Love you guys. Love you guys. Peace out, Reggie. Blessings, Reggie. Congratulations. Sebastian, I'll talk to you soon. I'll see you on the streets.
All right, later, y'all.
And you think you know me, but you really have no idea just what I've been through to get